and welcome to Load Bearing Beams. I'm Matt Stokes.
And I'm Lacey Roth.
We're married.
Yep.
Got married.
No.
In a courtroom.
12 years ago.
Yep. Didn't require a big, extensive groom's party, so I didn't have to hire any ringers. And neither did you.
No. I was born into ringers. What? I had cousins. They filled out the
cousins upon cousins.
If I needed some grooms, ladies, cousins.
Cousins had cousins. Mm-hmm. We're joined by Wade Hymel in studio.
Hey,
hi, Wade.
Oh, everybody say hey.
No.
Oh,
okay.
Everybody go.
Hi, Wade.
Hi.
Wade, I love you.
Man.
And as a man who's very secure in my both sexuality, masculinity, and confident in my emotional state.
Ooh, God, I just got turned on.
I can say things like that. I don't have to couch my emotions, my feelings, my connections to other people in sarcasm and irony. I would never do that. So I love you, my friend. I'm glad that you're here
Thank you, Matt.
to talk about I love you, man.
I would like to say that's very progressive of you for 2009. And
Thank you.
I love you too, man.
I Love You, Man is the movie we are just talking about.
And we're talking about it.
Yes, and
We
want
can't stop talking about it.
to get Wade's history with the movie, why he brought it to our attention. But before we even get to any of that, we have some show business to announce. It is
Show business.
The business of show.
the summer is upon us, a time that sucks shit, but we try to cope as best we can by doing something fun with our programming. So we break our format. Last year we did the summer of Spielberg.
I'm giving you some
Yeah, keep going.
diegetic.
No, it's perfect.
So we break our format. Last year we did the summer of Spielberg, talked about 9 Steven Spielberg movies. So that's fun. The thing that sucks for you, the listener, is that we do 3 straight episodes and then take a week off. So it's a way to lighten our workload. Now, what we haven't done is announced what we're doing this year. What is the topic of our miniseries?
Announcement.
We previously said, yeah, of course it'll be the summer of Scorsese,
You'd be wrong.
because there are a couple of issues with that. I mean, the biggest issue, honestly, for me is that I know his name is pronounced Scorsese, but the summer of Scorsese just doesn't have the same ring as summer of Scorsese.
Sounds score sleazy.
Throw it in the trash.
I've also found, I don't know, whatever category of movie you'd put under serious movie doesn't seem to do as well for us.
Sure. And also, we don't want to get stuck into we have to have alliteration that always works with the word summer. So I think we needed to mix it up in more than one way, not just by name does not start with S.
That's true.
But also name does not equal director. Oh,
yeah. What if we don't do a director? What if we pivot? What if we try
in
to
the
tell?
world is this all building to?
What if we try to tell a story?
Okay.
The story of a man.
A man's career.
A man's rise and fall.
A
man who his career got off to a rough start, but then he seemed like he figured things out. Now, universal approval for this man.
Magic Mike. No?
Then, earlier this year, we recorded an episode with our friend Caleb. The movie was That Awkward Moment.
Good episode.
Thank you. He said on that episode something that got my wheels turning. He said that the movie Baywatch, which a Zac Efron vehicle, he said it failed because of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Correct.
And then we started talking and then talked even after we were done. This guy's had a very interesting rise and fall and continues to fall and make bad decision after bad decision. And we thought it'd be a lot of fun to go through that chronologically.
Let's just tear him a new one.
Yeah.
He's genetically gifted.
And
Fuck him.
try to figure out why have things gone wrong? Why are you the projects you're picking are 5 years too late? And also, why have you sanded down what made you an interesting actor and star presence
I love this.
and created the most bland version of yourself?
We should do that.
Yeah, so we're doing it. The Summer of Rock. That's what
So
we're doing.
in 9 weeks, you're going to watch every Dwayne Johnson
That's
movie.
true. Yes.
No, Matt will strategically pick them to start with what he does right or where he started, then what went right, and then what went wrong. But picking so that we can make sure to have the strawest of men to round up Matt's theory.
Why wasn't The Sting the sequel to The Scorpion King?
Why? That's the real question.
And then
on everybody's mind.
the antidote is the third one.
The Scorpion King will indeed be our first episode because that was his first movie. And it was like a nice little base hit. Oh, off to a good start. But his career did take a little while to get going.
Well, he shouldn't have started with a wig. But all right.
No,
Let him be bald man.
That actually is part of the story, though, is when he decided to be bald, things started going well for him.
Yes.
Around 2011 in Fast Five.
It's just more
we'll
authentic.
get to all of that. But the other important thing is we get a new theme song for the summer. I'm in a band with my friend Wade here.
What?
Rural Route 9.
Never heard of him.
We get together in a studio. We invite Lacey to participate.
Oh, and they can revoke that invitation anytime they want. I hear you.
And so far, we have not.
Okay, I hear both of you.
And so we're going to go ahead and play our theme song that you'll hear for the rest of the summer. For the first time ever, you're going to hear this. Here
Even
goes.
Tyler's on it.
So many scarves on his mic stand. Look at that penis-shaped fella.
I got sucked into Jumanji. I had fun with Hobbs and Shaw. I was the Scorpion King and the Tooth Fairy, and in the all-time classic Walking Tall. Well, you all love Black Adam. Never forget your Jungle Cruise. I was in Hercules and the Fast series. I'm pretty sure I was in G.I. Joe too.
Me and my best friend Ryan Reynolds helped Moana with her boat. I was the Hasselhoff in Baywatch, but I didn't really get the joke. Turns out I'm a jabroni and my career's in a free fall. Nothing I do is working. I wonder where it all went wrong.
The Rock is in a hard place.
A diminution fan.
The Rock is in a hard place.
Dwayne Johnson has a sad face.
So we made this
Take your own podcast, talking Dwayne Johnson for the summer weeks.
We're dropping the album.
And raising the eyebrow. Temporary lowering names.
So what do we all think of this song? Turned out pretty good, huh?
I like
Round of applause.
It's a jam.
Yeah.
Muchacho.
Thanks as always to TJ Barron.
Yes.
Yes, our intrepid producer, engineer.
Intrepid.
Who is nice sometimes
He's
to me.
And really nice other times.
He has 2 speeds.
yeah, that was the way that song came together is Lacey. I started to write a very fast like Blink-182 style song, and Lacey said, "No."
So
she-
instead, he crammed a lot of words into a slower song.
And you pointed me to what's the song to
The Anxiety.
Meet Me at Our
Meet Me
Spot
at Our
by
Spot.
The Anxiety. And I was like, okay. And I tried to write as something that sounds like that, and now the final version sounds absolutely nothing like
Nothing
that.
like it. And still, we love it. And I like that it changed where you were headed because this is fun and easy to track.
Yeah. And so we go to the studio. Wade plays the drums. He does a few flourishes on the guitar.
But which one of you slap a da bass, Mon?
I was the one who slapped a da bass.
Okay.
That's a good segue.
But I
2.
use the pick, of course. I find something so visually unappealing about people who don't use picks. Sorry, Wade. When you play bass, why
I
is
play
that?
bass with a pick.
Let's not
sometimes.
dig in. This is not that podcast.
I don't slap. You slap the pick.
Okay, yeah. Slapping even less visually appealing for whatever reason.
You're a no violence kind of guy.
Anything else? What?
Yeah, speaking of Dwayne Johnson, he was in Get Smart, which was a movie that came out around the same time as I Love You, Man. Which is the movie
remember
we're
liking
talking
it.
about today.
I like the show Get Smart as well,
Oh, I loved that show.
Mm-hmm.
That was
especially the opening.
Created by Mel
with
Brooks.
all the doors.
Created by Mel Brooks, which
We love Mel Brooks.
We love him.
we do. I forgot to mention, this is Wade's 5th time on the main feed of the show. If you don't count the episode that we couldn't recover,
Right.
the one we never released on
It's
History
not
of the World
canon,
Part
but
1.
it did exist.
If only we had Hasselhoff to recover him.
Yeah. And then our episode on The Office, which is behind the paywall. But yeah, congratulations. First ever 5-timer on
Wow.
the show.
And you guys are popular now. You have friends and guests who actually know things about movies,
Brett.
and yet I keep coming around.
You've
Yeah.
got a soothing voice.
It's like a weed
Oh.
growing. No, you're the best.
You're
Yep.
best. And you finally
and you
did it.
refuse to hit me with the roundup, and I love you, man, for that.
Why'd you want to do this movie?
I suddenly remembered that it was a latter period load bearing beam of mine, I guess you'd call.
A New Testament.
Yeah, it wasn't a. It's a lot like the New Testament in that it came out after Y2K, and
More progressive, less violent.
more progressive, less violent, although still violent at the right time.
Wait, what do you think happened in the world after Y2K?
I'm talking about the New Testament. I'm making Bible jokes.
okay.
You're on your phone.
Yeah, Matt, get off your
Get
iPhone.
old
off your
story,
screen.
Yeah, I saw it, I believe, in the theater when it came out.
I did
and
too.
I just liked it.
too.
I hadn't, being someone that doesn't keep up with things, I hadn't really, I didn't realize that this was like their third, Siegel and Rudd's third movie in a row together. or
I also
something.
didn't
So
realize.
I
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
It hit me as really fresh and funny and fun, and the cast is great, and the jokes were great, and good timing and good time. I loved it.
This is the first one where they're, the leads.
Right.
Because, Paul Rudd is in Forgetting Sarah Marshall. And
But he's
the-
such a minor character. He's just the surf guy.
Yeah, and they're both, and Paul Rudd's a very big part of Knocked Up, and Jason Segel's in that movie. But yeah,
Right.
this is let's put them together.
I love it. I'm glad they made. You know what? Apatow. Is this an Apatow movie?
So this has
What
Judd
about-
Apatow
I'm
is
sorry,
nowhere.
What
near-
about We Are Sarah Marshall?
Shut up.
Judd Apatow? I was surprised to find no involvement with this movie whatsoever.
fuck's
But they
sake.
certainly are trying to be it's an Apatow
Apatow-esque.
movie. Even if we want to suggest it's Judd Apatow, we got all his people, including you said great cast, and this is a movie where every single person is somebody. Everybody who has a line, even people who have half a line, you're like, that's David Krumholtz.
Was that Rio 911 guy?
No,
No, I love.
you
so
know
much.
David Krumholtz.
Which one is he?
You know David Krumholtz.
And yet he won't tell us. Wait.
Bernard the elf from the Santa
Oh,
Claus.
right. Sorry.
And lots of other things.
know
No,
him.
Thomas Lennon plays Doug.
I love Doug.
The casting on this movie is by Allison Jones, who Wade and I talked about on our Office podcast.
That's awesome.
Secret sauce behind any great cast is the casting director. We'll find all these great people.
David Krumholtz.
Come on.
So you wouldn't tell me, so I had to
Slums of
fucking
Beverly
Google it.
Hills. The
But
brother.
Wade's
damn it.
Wade's seen 11 movies. I don't.
Slums of Beverly Hills. He's the
I've
brother.
seen- yeah. Nope. Apparently he was in Superbad. I blocked that one out.
This is great.
This is good
Yeah,
podcasting.
no, it's perfect.
Yeah, I don't know who this guy is.
You're an idiot.
I am.
No, you're not.
All right, Lacey, any memories of this movie?
Absolutely. These are my guys. Paul Rudd has been a long time fave of mine, crush, and just funny. I find his timing impeccable. He is exactly my kind of comedian. And I fell in love with it. I watched it a ton of times. That was such a quotable movie because of all the accidental things that they say to each other, and they make them so naturally seem like mistakes. But Paul Rudd stuff is probably the things I say the most. I've got to imagine this was all improv, and it was amazing.
What do you say?
Totes my goats.
I've never heard you say that, so.
Yeah, I don't talk to you. There's a lot of things, really.
Yeah.
Broham, what do you think?
Broseph Goebbels.
Yeah.
No. Like
Tico
I said,
Brohe.
it's Paul Rudd that I quote. I don't know. The problem is when they started talking like this, it just started to get my pledge, that comes from here, but everybody says that. So
When you get a mo.
When you get a mo, yes. It's just a lot of little things. And I'm not saying I still quote it, but it became a part of my vocabulary for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And it has become a part of the world's lexicon. So it's hard to even realize this is, I think, where it started is them just fucking saying whatever came to their mind.
I mean, I think The Office popularized the not knowing where your sentence is going to end.
That's not what I'm
just
talking
saying
about.
Something.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying what they actually do deliver and what they actually do say. Those little nuggets did become things people say. People do say totes my goats and totes, which even became more popular, obviously, totes, because of this movie.
Okay. I saw this movie in theaters and then never thought about it again. When you two watched
You don't
Sounds
have,
about right.
Because you don't have man friends that you think are like this. You don't think this exists.
do I have to to like a movie? It has to
Yeah.
reflect my life.
Yeah.
It has to be like, this is a movie about a man with two children and
That's why you only like cranky old men. Those are your favorite. You're a cranky old white man.
She has a good point.
I know.
She has a good point. Cranky old black men, good too. I really love Keith David. I love Danny Glover. But those are the two kinds. This time, what'd you think, both of you?
I fucking loved it. I laughed so many times.
Fucking loved it. Laughed so many times.
Yes, Wade, for one reason why Wade came back, not just because he loves it, but he has yet to bring one that I've like super liked, right? Isn't that like that's our record?
That's kind
we
of
did-
our thing.
We've done
kind of our
GoldenEye
thing.
twice. We did the bucket list.
Lacey hated GoldenEye so much we brought it back and did it again.
And she was really mad that second time. And when Pierce Brosnan kisses see, she just
Makes love.
projectile vomits on the screen for some reason. All I have to say is kiss. And she's like, shut up.
Because I can smell it. Ugh.
We did the bucket list, which I remember you kind of liking.
I don't remember it at all.
Yeah, History of the World Part 1, which got
Borderline
deleted.
11. I feel like that's in it.
And here we are. And yeah, you loved this movie. And I thought this movie was fine.
Wait, I like that awkward moment, didn't I?
That was Caleb. That's a
Yep.
different person from him.
Whole other person.
One of my other friends.
Fuck.
My other male friends who I love, who I have very pure platonic love for. Uncomplicated. Don't have to dress it up in sarcasm.
I'm never going to get sick of this bit.
So, I mean, I thought it's hard to dislike this movie, especially Paul Rudd. I thought that it's not very well directed. It feels like an assemblage of all kinds of awkward parts, and it feels like a guy who's trying to evoke the Apatow spirit with all the improving and just let him go, and cut a million times. Sometimes
lots of cuts.
Sometimes you even notice like, okay, he was not sitting that way. Now
Yeah.
we're seeing him like lounging back, and it's just because they're like, all right, Paul, just give us everything you got. And then he does, and then they just pick the best take.
I like it.
But I think that more adds to the fun than takes away.
And it feels more like real. I know Apatow's known for like being kind of what started the whole like, oh, this feels like a real conversation, a real friendship. But this one feels even more real. I just find them very believable as two dudes that find each other late in life.
Yeah.
But I thought that the movie missed a lot of opportunities to really examine some things, which we'll get into as we go along.
I'm looking forward to that.
But as we
dig in.
we were talking before, Wade and I, and then Lacey came in and said, "Shut up, save it for the cast." But we both kind of felt like, in a way, this movie
Professional.
feels a little 90s in its sensibilities. It feels a little 90s, but filmed as if it's a Judd Apatow comedy from the 2000s.
And then what'd you learn, Matt?
That is exactly what.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so let's talk about the history.
Okay.
History of I Love You Man. Where to start? Well, I think there's only one place to start.
The
And
90s.
that's with the male loneliness epidemic. Gen Z and millennial men in the U.S. are among the loneliest in the Western world, says Fortune. Men are carrying the brunt of the loneliness epidemic amid potent societal pressures, says
Is
the
that-
conversation.
who is
That is
that?
Justin
Who are we
Bieber.
looking at?
That is-
That's what I
that
thought.
is Justin.
I thought Travis Barker.
Nope.
Why are men so lonely? Asks the Los Angeles
Because
Times.
he's standing in a yard by a tree by himself. He should just go where the people are.
Audio medium.
Okay.
Men are in a loneliness epidemic. Should women care? Asks Yes
Psychedelic
Magazine.
cartoon.
The men's loneliness epidemic might not exist, says NPR. So whether this epidemic exists or not, the Gallup data most recently showed that American men are more likely than other Americans and more likely than their peers in other wealthy nations to report feeling lonely. Based on aggregated data from 2023 and 2024, 25% of U.S. men aged 15 to 34 said they felt lonely a lot of the previous day. And younger U.S. men are more likely to feel lonely than their counterparts across the 38 other higher income democratic countries in the OECD. This is according to Gallup. Link in the description. Now, what accounts for this male loneliness epidemic? Or is it just sort of a media phenomenon that has gained a lot of traction as a way that we can blame? We can find somebody to blame for why everything in the world is going wrong. Why do we have Trump twice? Oh, it's those shitty, angry men. That's why.
Are you lonely, Matt?
I'm not, no.
Okay. Wade?
Not lonely.
Okay, so my data says no. But
No, but
But we're a very
Small sample.
select sample group.
yeah, that's true.
yes.
An R of 1.
Okay, but
Two.
no, I don't know, based purely anecdotal, but also proven out in the data and proven out in the way the world has evolved. People, not just men, are fucking lonely because we have a isolating, alienating society. Why do people always say it's impossible to make friends as an adult? It's like, it's
It's
actually
awkward.
It's not harder to make friends when you're an adult because of the way you are. The reason it's easier to make friends when you're a kid is there's a place they put all the kids for 8 hours every day.
Yeah, there's a reason why all of us have work friends whenever we end up working at a place.
Okay, and what has changed recently?
Yeah, I know.
People don't have jobs, or if they do, they're gig workers or temp workers, or they don't work in the same place. And then what happens when you do go to an office? What do they show in this movie? His one male
Cubicles.
coworker.
Oh,
What is
sorry.
their relationship with each other?
Adversarial.
They're adversarial, yes. So he does not. So he's even in an environment where it's not conducive to forming social bonds. And I feel like all of society is just structured in that way and just getting worse and worse. And it's the same reason why they're like, young people aren't having sex. And it's like, that's true. The reason why is not because they're less horny, but because they're not meeting other people, because there's no way for people to meet other people these days.
But young people still go to school.
After school, people in their 20s.
They don't go to college.
Fewer people are going to college, but even the college experience is like, well, there's a lot of remote learning and there's less community. There's less.
Thank God for those dating apps.
So you have all of these trends that were going on in 2009. And even when you look at this movie from 2009, it looks like a movie from a different world because this guy
Yeah.
who's a real estate broker goes to an office with all these other people. Now he would be an independent contractor. He'd probably work from home if he had this job at all.
They don't.
Very true.
They don't say it, do they? They, like, not directly, but it is his mom's company. She's the real estate agent,
What?
and started this company. Yeah, there's a photo of them two selling her first house. She's next to the for sale sign, and he's like, "Yay, mom!"
If it is harder for men to make friends than it is for women, because this has always been a thing people say.
That makes sense to me. I buy that. You guys aren't made to make a friend. You have to express interest in like vulnerableness and affection to something. It's gay if it's a guy. Like, how else do you do it except for when you're a child? Mm-hmm.
But isn't that what the movie is kind of trying to subvert?
Subvert? I mean, I think it's trying to he's not a person who made strong bonds when he was younger, and this would have been when it was societally acceptable to do it. So yeah, if you missed that boat because you were a girlfriend guy, and there are absolutely girlfriend guys. I was a boyfriend girl, so I know that. It is hard. You feel like you've missed the best friend train because everyone you miss already has best friends, and they're going to be talking about old stuff. And it's like coming in on a comic book series. Where the fuck do I start? Do I really have a place in this? Are we going to write more chapters for me, or did I just miss this? Mm-hmm. And it makes you feel sad when you don't have your own. Like, I definitely think it's a real thing this movie's talking about.
Yeah.
I was a girlfriend guy, but all my best friends are people like Wade who were friends I've known since high school or even before.
And you guys had the super macho reason to get together, which was a band. And I mean it. I'm saying, like, that is a socially acceptable reason for a bunch of guys to spend lots of hours together, sweaty and next to each other, and like being artsy. Like,
Except Matt and I weren't in a band for, I think, the first 6 years that we knew each other.
Wait, if you freaking contradict me one more time.
I'm subverting your ass.
Well, but like for men who find it difficult to make friends, I think that one of the and obviously it is, and there's not many great ways to do it, but we see each other because we have a thing we like to do together, which is to make music or to podcast. And that's why I see you more than I see most of my other friends. And I'm doing a podcast with Patrick. And for that reason, I, remotely meet up with him every month. And it's like, you have to have sort of set activity that you're going to be doing together, especially when you get to be an adult and you have your life that you have to lead.
This is why my most recent friends are either people I work with, or they're literally my best friend I've had for like 10 years now, is because our kids played soccer together and they went to school. They still go to school together. It's all just about like, well, I'm going to see you every Saturday because of soccer. And now it's people at the theater because I go there every day. So,
right.
yeah.
So I think the reason I brought up all of this is like, we all take this as a given, but this wasn't how it used to be. Like, you saw lots of people in your everyday life. and you lived closer to other people. It's like it's
Yeah.
unusual for us to live on a piece of property, hundreds and hundreds of yards away from anybody else, and even then, hundreds and hundreds of feet away from other people, not having any public transportation or a town square or like. The world used to be more conducive for you to make friends because you make friends by just being around other people.
I have an update. In the movie I Love You Man, Peter's mom, played by Jamie Priestley, is a real estate agent.
Jamie Presley does not play Peter's mom.
You went to Google AI for
I sure
that.
did.
This movie all starts with a man named Larry Levin and he wrote, this spec script in the 90s called Let's Be Friends, because this is a thing that people have been talking about even since then and since way before then. These things have been going on for, I don't know, since the 40s or since at least the 70s, these trends
Thought you were going to say
of loneliness.
Thought you were going to say it's called No Homo.
Larry Levin, he wrote for TV shows like It's Gary Shandling's Show and Bakersfield PD, which he created. He also wrote one episode of Seinfeld. I'm going to I'll get back to that in a second. He wrote screenplays for Dr. Dolittle and Dr. Dolittle 2. Then he sold this script for a movie called Let's Be Friends, and it would take about 12 to 15 years for it to get made much later. But that's why I think Wade and I were both picking up on the 90s-ness. And I really noticed so many Seinfeld, like that Anwar Sadat thing is such a Seinfeld joke.
Yeah.
This dog looks like Anwar Sadat.
Did the Seinfeld episode he wrote, was it the Not That There's Anything Wrong with That?
No, it was The Boyfriend. It's the Keith Hernandez episode.
Oh.
So I watched that episode last night and I was like, oh my God, these are literal scenes from I Love You, Man. Let's take
man.
a look.
Let's see-
Or
watch it.
this is just audio. I couldn't get the video.
In 3 days and he hasn't called.
Well, maybe you should call him.
I can't.
Why not?
I don't know. I just feel like he should call me.
What's the difference?
You don't understand, Elaine. I don't want to be over anxious. If he wants to see me, he has my number. He should call.
Just go ahead and call him.
Well, I can't call here. It's a coffee shop. I mean, what am I going to say to him?
Just ask him if he wants to get together.
For what, dinner?
Dinner's good.
Don't you think that's coming on a little too strong? Isn't that like a turn off?
Jerry, he's a guy.
That's the movie I Love You, Man.
It is the
Yep.
whole movie. Yes, I'm so glad it was
Paul
funnier.
Rudd doing a Jerry Seinfeld impression.
But
Better.
I think the movie, the Seinfeld episode, the extended joke is just having a male friend or trying to find a male friend is a lot like dating,
Yeah.
and that you even have to break up. And it's not that I Love You, Man isn't that, because it is trying to be like a romantic comedy about
Yeah.
friendship,
Same beats.
which even has like, the wedding and the guy interrupting it and everything. But I at least like it that it moves beyond that joke, because in the
Yeah.
Seinfeld episode, which is 2 episodes, it's a double episode.
Jesus.
They keep returning to that joke. It's, he's a guy.
It would have had a lot of legs in the 90s. Yes.
But you see the 90s relics all over this movie, like how many phone calls they're always making. And
Yeah.
sorry, I'm hogging the phone. You mean that
Right, I was like,
cordless
wait.
landline?
Okay. Yeah.
Well, okay, so this script is written in the 1990s, and John Hamburg, who is the director and co-writer of this movie, he said he was offered the script many times before he finally accepted it.
Meet the Parents. That was one Lacey hated.
Yeah, so John Hamburg
Horror movie,
is he wrote Meet the Parents, he wrote Zoolander,
which I love.
he directed Along Came Polly, and has
can't
recently directed Why Him and Me Time. Along Came Polly also has this thing of like, you need to loosen up, man. Let out your energy. Scream on the beach. Throw your cell phone in the river.
Did it have the throw pillow thing I remembered? Something,
pillow?
Something about pillows on the bed?
I don't remember. I don't know. I'm just
Too
going
many-
off of what I remember.
Too many pillows on the bed?
I get the sense that Hamburg, like he took this script from the 90s and was just like, well, I'll just update it. I'll make it raunchier, but did leave a lot of the bones from this sort of these observations about like masculinity and everything from the 90s.
Would you say like girls' night, guys' night? It feels kind of old fashioned? These like set poker nights. I know people still do this, but like the concept of it's boys' night, it's girls' night. Maybe it was still okay in 2009.
I think that still happens.
I think that's from what I
today.
hear that still happens. I've just never been that kind of person. I've never had the boys.
Somebody invite him some just anywhere, please.
Well, I mean, all my friends have been friends with you too, and then they like you more than they like me, and so we all just hang out together, and then I just talk less and less.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah, but I think that's still a thing. And that like they talk about like John Favreau they go on boys trips to Vegas. Whenever I hear about these guys who go off to, like my brother goes to Vegas with guys. Where are you getting the money?
That's
is
what
this
the
happening?
money's for. No kids, Matt. That's how.
That's how. So yeah, he wrote Meet the Parents, which we did on a previous episode with Wade. That's also a case where he took an older script and updated it.
Yeah.
Because Meet the Parents was a remake of an earlier independent movie. And then I Love You Man is his first movie after Along Came Polly. But he'd also worked in TV. He directed 3 episodes of the show Undeclared, which was Judd Apatow's follow-up to Freaks and Geeks. And that show starred Jason Segel. That's where he meets Jason Segel. And through Judd Apatow, he became friends with Paul Rudd. Again, I was very surprised Judd Apatow has no involvement in this movie, but it obviously exists in the universe he created. However, uncomfortably, I say. This movie made on a $40 million budget. It made $71 million domestic, 92 worldwide, a nice little hit. But this is like creeping up to the very end of movie studios doing big budget comedies. It just like, I don't know what Bridesmaids maybe was the last like super comedy blockbuster.
What about Girls Trip?
I mean, that was a hit. Yeah. I don't know how big budget that was. I mean, like 40 million is kind of a lot for a movie. It's like, yeah, we got to pay these movie stars. Now, if you make a comedy, it's got to be like $10 million or less. I don't know. But that's just one of the ways this movie feels like it's a telegram from an earlier world, especially because it opens with the DreamWorks logo. That's the history of I Love You Man. But the weird thing about, what's so weird is this movie opens in 2009, or presumably this is the present, and he's like, Paul Rudd as Peter takes Rashida Jones, who plays Zoe, but spelled Zooey because it's the 2000s, and as in Deschanel, drives her to this vacant lot on the edge of downtown LA, and he lays out his plans. And he's like, my plan is to create a cluster of live work lofts all along the perimeter here. And I also am planning this neighborhoody dining and retail area in the central square. It's like, oh, so you're Satan. Oh, so you have the worst idea in the history of the world. Okay. He's a literal gentrifier.
I thought that too. Like, oh, you're doing the Lord's work there.
Because he literally later says, like, I know the neighborhood's a little
sketchy.
Yeah, a little iffy, but I'm going to fix all that with my dining and retail square. And she's like, and he's like, and you have like your yarn store or whatever that you own with your 3 best friends. You could open up a second yarn store here. No mention anywhere in this of the real estate collapse and financial depression that the world is in 2009. That's the other thing of this.
But wait,
existing in an earlier
you were going to make the point that they never mention what they sell at their store.
Well, no, they never do. Well, it's like home design. That's what the sign says.
Why would you need a fucking store for that?
Yes, I know. That's just where they go and eat salads.
Why would you need a second store?
It's right.
No, these are all very like Judd Apatow movies. These people are all very well moneyed. Where does that money come from? Oh,
being white.
But they're written by Hollywood people who have been super successful forever. So they're like, well, all my friends also own yarn stores and never work and never do anything.
Okay. It's a trust fund yarn store.
But it's like, it's not a spoof of these kinds of people. The movie's like, no, take it for face value. This is a good idea to go and build this. Like, remember South Park Sodo Sopa? Mm-hmm. Just that district that every single town gets.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to revitalize everything. And you can live here and you can work here. So yeah, no acknowledgement of the worldwide depression, but Rashida Jones is like, wow, that's the best idea I've ever heard. And then he proposes to her. And she's like, oh my God, I can't believe you proposed to me, but you did. And now we're married. Now they're in the car and she is calling her 2 best friends on speakerphone.
It's on speakerphone, but this is a car phone, right? Because it's going through the car's speakers. So I was just like, I'm trying to find 90s relics, man. Okay, let's say it's a car phone.
Let's say it's a car phone.
It's a car phone. So she got her 2 best friends.
And this is where they introduce the idea of the fact that her and her friends talk about everything. This is a male director? Yeah, right. We just did this. So I will say that it's fine. It's not egregious, but like all the no, that's when he went down. Lock that tongue down, girl. Like, no, we don't. That's not the most important thing. Anyway, just wanted to throw that in there. This is a male's voice coming up with these things these ladies are talking about. But this is how we figure out that there are no secrets amongst this tight-knit group of friends. And they all love Peter, but they're doing the weird thing where they don't say that he's listening.
Yeah, she's just like, it's so cute she doesn't know she's on speaker. Well, you're an asshole
Fucking
then.
tell her. Anything could have gone wrong. What
Yeah.
the hell? That's 90s.
Well, I mean, I think it's just in the way that like, you told them we had sex in a hot tub? I don't know about that. Like, I think that's kind of 90s. Like, even a repressed person like Paul Rudd in this movie should know that, like, yeah, people talk to their friends about this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I really feel like his best friend is his mom, and then he just went from girlfriend. He seems sheltered in a way, but not let in. Like, sheltered and then not exposed to anything interesting with those women.
That's why I say it's a 90s relic. It feels like an almost Seinfeld like observation. Like, I'm sorry, you told them I go down on you.
Yeah.
Or later he's like, how can you ask me when I masturbate? But I feel like, I don't know, my whole life my friends and I have talked about stuff like this.
That's true, because in American Pie, it's just only about masturbating, and that's all they talk about. I mean, you know, and when did that come out? American Pie.
99 or 2000?
Right. That's already like a free thing people are discussing. So in 2009, it does seem a little late to be like, what? You do who?
Yeah. So back at home, they're opening champagne. There's another thing I think they don't really explore in this movie is that they have
live together.
Paul Rudd and Rashida Jones don't know each other that well and haven't known each other for that long. They've only known each other 8 months, but they live together now. They're getting married. And she'll say later, like, I get why you asked me why I want to marry you. And it's like, it seems like there's a more complicated relationship here that they're not getting to.
Just that it's a short one, 8 months.
And that's interesting. Like, there's interesting things to explore there. I thought I knew you, but I'm learning all these new things about you. Like later she learns you play an instrument. Like, wouldn't she have known that by now?
No, I think he loses himself in every relationship, which is super relatable. When I was, I was a serial monogamist from 4-year relationship to 3 to 4. Like, and my hobbies were just whatever they did. My friends were just whoever's theirs were. My taste in music changed. I think he lost himself by hopping to those women and throwing himself in them.
So she's making...
He doesn't slap the bass like you play the axe. Your axe is your life.
That's true. I do live for the axe.
You live for the axe and
It's
die by the
true.
sword, and
He's
everyone
an
knows
axe
that
man.
about you.
I will go like a month without playing guitar.
But I knew that about you first. And well, because you did come to the office the first time I met you on a day where we were all singing and dancing and you played the tambourine. So maybe that's how I figured it out. But I feel like
play guitar.
it's just something you wear on your sleeve.
Wade, what's the longest you'll go without touching a guitar or an instrument?
0?
0. No, I will look up and realize sometimes it's been like a month since I touched the guitar.
Okay,
and I'll
good.
go, that's why I've been kind of depressed.
No.
No, me too. Yeah, I do feel. Oh, yeah, it's a thing I do that's like a part of me.
Yeah.
But I recently read Mark Hoppus's memoir, and he said he at some point realized he hadn't played bass in 4 years.
Jesus.
Wow.
That is a long time.
That's too long.
Man,
You gotta
But
slap it.
He got cancer in during those 4 years.
Yeah.
But still, what was he doing beforehand? Pick up a bass. But yeah, this she's making
And play it with a pick.
well, he does, please. Using the landline phone, she's like, "Oh, honey, I'm sorry. I've been making all the calls. You want to call some people now, don't you?" And I like that the way he plays this is like he's not deceiving her in any
No.
way. It's just never occurred to him that he doesn't have actual friends like she does.
Well, and he's so childlike in this movie too, because there's so many moments where he's like, no one's ever asked me that before. No one's ever put it like that. I've never talked about that. And it's like in this moment, he's not hiding that he doesn't have friends. It's just like, wait, I don't friend because friend never interrupt what we do. Like he's
Right.
kind of just like, oh, you've only enjoyed this aspect of me, never dug into it, and now all of a sudden I feel like I'm going to get judged a little.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe don't go to your parents' house for dinner right after this because.
Well, he says, well, my parents are asleep, so I'll call them in the morning. Oh, but don't you want to call some friends? He's like, no, I'll tell them when I see them. And again, he isn't being deceptive. In his mind, he's like, no, I have friends. I have the guys that I fence with.
Right.
And I have that guy at work.
Yeah, he's not interested in them taking up any of his time, anything more than what he's already doing with them.
But I think it's a good choice of the movie to have the man, like I said earlier, Tevin at the office is literally his competitor. They're competing against each other. So yeah, that's a way. It's sort of unlikely that a friendship can form from there. When if they were not going after the same stuff, maybe they would find that they actually want to be friends.
But
Tevin even goes so far as to say he's putting on his friend hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good point.
I thought
Yes.
that was a good.
But are his female friends not valid? He has lovely relationship with everyone at the office.
That's what I was going to ask about. Is it seems like that's another thing missing from this movie is it would be interesting if he did have like female friends that he's close to, and maybe how does that work in this whole dynamic?
Yeah.
Or is that something that upsets Rashida Jones, or I don't know. He just doesn't get close to anybody, even though it seems like this kind of guy would have a close female friend.
Right, but if he's going from relationship to relationship and he's diving all in on those, it definitely seems like it's by design. He wants to be with someone that wants to be with him all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, then maybe that's the answer to why they already lived together. That seems like it was on, fast forward, 1.5 speed.
8 months of dating is
Yeah, I mean, I would have moved
not
in.
a long time to be moving in.
But I would have moved in with you that fast.
Yeah, but we were special.
Well, they are too. They are special. I think they are so sweet. I think they really get each other.
Yeah,
Now, everyone is special, and everyone should just do what they do.
Oh, okay.
They should
Thanks,
do what they
Wade.
do.
It's almost like you said nothing at all.
No, I think it's I think
It's almost like that.
you can absolutely have a very successful relationship coming out of like a very hurried up courtship. And it's interesting that the movie finds a few ways to show how that can, the complications that can come from that, but maybe not enough.
But at their core, they're people who are good at communicating with each other and are just very kind and are happy to have found someone who's interested in them, ask them questions about their day, is very nice. They find attractive, good sex. I think they've got the bones of something that can get over these little things. Like I still find out things about you I didn't know. I mean, that's just, we're constantly growing and adding new things to ourselves that we have to then reveal to our partner. That's what I think you get out of them, is that they're just really supportive of each other.
And again, he thinks he does have friends. He has Gilliam. But what does he do? What is the
They
thing
fight.
that they
I
do?
will say that is a random thing that stuck in my lexicon ever since.
Gilliam?
And I've never known anyone named Gil. I don't think.
They hide.
They don't exist anymore.
So I use it for Bill.
Billiam.
William.
Well, and that's why Gilliam is funny, because it is just William. Right.
But a great way to make friends as an adult is like
we'll go to the gym.
Go play sports.
Do a sport, right?
Play basketball. But he picked the one sport we are in literal combat against each other.
Wearing a mask. And a mask even makes it worse because you get no eye contact. It's so devoid of like being a real person. You might as well just be like an NPC that I'm fighting in a video game.
Man, see, I knew there was going to be some cool ass symbolism that y'all picked up on.
Well, and
I knew I was going to learn something.
wait.
when they because what we were saying earlier is like the way to make friends as a man is do stuff with other men. You got to do stuff.
Yeah, but it can't be queer.
But as long as it's not queer. No, it can be queer. It's fine.
No, I know it can be love. I'm saying that's what's so hard. That seems to be the thing that's not evolving as fast as the rest of the world. Is like guys can just go get lunch. Fuck.
I part of this is like we're the movie and we are like universalizing guys, because my whole life I've told my male friends I love you. We hug. Like I've never for a second been worried about like being perceived as gay with my friends.
No, I am saying that what they are doing is harder. A new friend, not a childhood friend, that you can still find ways to have one-on-one where you can like learn about each other, develop feelings for each other, and one day maybe love each other and then say it. I feel like I'm adding to your point. We're like, well, but you guys are conditioned to be at odds with each other. We got to fight.
Well,
that way it's not gay.
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying that like this isn't a thing that all men felt, but you're right. I mean, the only like new friends I've made as an adult are people. It's been through work or it's been through parenting. Yeah. And like I've met friends through the podcast, but they're not people I meet in real life. And I think that the meeting somebody in the physical world is like maybe the most important part of all of this. It's just being around somebody or you doing a thing together.
Yeah, there is something about the camera hitting record that turns you on and your personality on in a way that is not totally you. It's not. It's the on you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as we hit record and you do your little clap and a little bear and bass, like you become Matt. And I'm saying, so a screen friendship, something that is long distance, can only be on a screen. You pump yourself up for those interactions. You're not just Matt.
I don't like the way both of you were just like, oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Well, no, you've got that little special something, that sizzle.
Well, it's.
I wasn't agreeing with her specific assessment of on Matt. I'd meant a generalized, like everyone is.
Yeah.
That.
I'm not just going to sit here and talk about like kids and money. That's not what we're here for.
And money.
That's what it's like. The kids making us some money. Let's talk about that.
So he has, he's in literal combat with this person. And as Lacey said, he's wearing a mask. So it's like, yeah, he doesn't feel like he's a real person. And while they're fighting, Gil gets super angry at him and yells at him.
Fuck me raw!
Sweet bout, Gilliam. And then when is it the time where they can actually see each other and decompress? It's in a vulnerable place where you're not supposed to look at each other. It's in the locker room. You look at each other too long, gay. Or at least Peter feels that. Peter's just so reserved, so quick, and he's so pleasant and so nice that he just doesn't come off as a guy that you'd want to invite for a beer. So he doesn't get invited, or he gets invited once, says no, and then they never do it again. It's the locker room. He's not a locker room guy. There's certain guys who like thrive in that environment, snapping towels, grabbing each other's dicks, or whatever you guys do. Peter's not that guy. He's got like boundaries, and he's trying to be polite.
Yeah, and as I am an introverted person, I am a private person, and I'm a reserved person, and lots of people like me are out there, and it's harder for us to make friends. The reason we're able to do it as kids is because we're forced to be around lots of other kids. This is his one opportunity where it might happen. He just chose the one sport that's maybe least conducive.
But you say that, but then there's clearly a core friend group, 4 friends
because
who
they have
been
much different personalities. They are way more outgoing than he is. So it's like he's going to naturally find the comfort, the mother. He is his mama's child. He loves his mom. That's probably his best friend. So so he just keeps finding these people that are his safe place. His dad's kind of tough on him. His dad is way more has the sense of humor of the brother. They're totally lovable. I love them, but they're not Peter, and they weren't nurtured. The son just wasn't nurtured the same way the other one was. It almost like he overcompensated for being gay, so he became the masculine. I'm just like dad. I'll fuck around like dad. To the point he's even like having sex with straight guys because somehow that makes him like a cooler gay. I don't know. Anyway, my point is, Peter's been socialized to run to women. And to hide from men. Well, because you can even read in the dinner scene, which we're now, they take Rashida Jones and Paul Rudd, go to his parents' house. His parents are played by J.K. Simmons and Jane Curtin, and Andy Samberg plays his little brother, Robbie.
All fantastic.
I love Andy Samberg in this role.
And this is this is J.K. Simmons before Whiplash, where you can have him for just a 2-scene role because he's way too qualified to have this role. But no, he's hilarious.
Yep,
everything he says is hilarious.
He has a secret, almost secret line that is one of my favorite moments in the movie. Later.
Okay, so you'll tell us then.
I'll tell you that.
All right. But you can read the scene is because Paul Rudd is that Peter is so much older than his brother. He says he's 8 years older, and his brother is now super close to his dad. That his dad probably
didn't have the time,
mellowed out, became less career oriented. Now I'm going to spend a lot more time with my son.
Yeah.
And it's funny that the Freudian reading would be like, well, the one who's close to the mom would be gay, and the tough son would end up, fucking lots of ladies, but it's the exact opposite thing that happened.
Well, and also I think we can also read into it from the picture of Peter, like preteen, maybe saying hooray next to his mom selling her first house in that picture, that he probably went on ride-alongs. Like he learned the business. He wasn't just like not at the house when the dad was at the house. He was with the mom all the time, is how I read it.
Yeah, it's the movie's got a good attention to those kinds of character building details without really like hammering them home for you. So he's like, they're now talking about it. Like, yeah, he's never had a lot of friends. We moved around a lot when when I was a kid, but they're like, yeah, but Robbie always made friends. But it's that thing. It's
But
like,
he's 8 years younger, so you're saying you were still moving. Right. They don't really say, well, we still kept moving around.
right. But it's also, there are kids who could make a friend anywhere.
Yeah.
Lacey becomes best friends with everybody she
Yeah.
talks to.
Yep.
There's only been one woman that we've ever encountered in our whole time together where I was disturbed, and I said afterward, that's the only woman I've ever seen you not have chemistry with.
And I
it
hated
was
her.
weird. Yeah, and she sucked.
She fucking sucked.
Do I know her?
No.
No,
It was
someone we worked with.
I was a speech therapist who came into our house twice a week, and I just kept waiting. Like, Lacey's going to turn on the magic now, and it just never. You were like Paul Rudd, like, oh, hello, speech therapist. What am I even saying? Yeah, nothing was working. It was so strange to see.
Later's on the Menjay.
So Peter,
That one stuck around too.
Yeah. Matt doesn't think anything sticks, though, because I couldn't come up with examples.
What? Peter always.
Let's all watch the movie together now.
Yes.
Pause the episode.
Pause.
All right, we're back.
Okay.
Good movie.
That was
Good.
great. I loved it.
I really like
liked
the
the
end
wedding.
scene.
I like the part where Rocky climbs the stairs. I don't know.
Peter's always been a girlfriend guy. He puts all his energy into his relationships, and then his guy friends fell away. I had a girlfriend for all 4 years of college, and yeah, I had fewer friends during that time. And then when I've been single, had a lot more friends. It's just a thing. What is with that skeptical noise?
It's also a timing thing. I wanted to say about the locker room scene. I take Peter as a very scheduled guy. You're a very scheduled guy. You know, you'd build in your gym stuff when you had time for it. So you're not going to run into somebody at the gym and have a conversation like, hey, you want to grab a beer? And it's
fuck no.
no, I planned 8 other things after that. So I think there's a type of laid back person that makes a lot more friends than we do because we didn't carve out time to do this one thing, not another thing. Susan, I'm not just gonna go have a beer, fake Susan. Okay,
But that's another consequence of us being freelancers and working from our homes. There's no opportunity whatsoever to be forced. I worked in an office with a guy. He only worked there for 3 weeks, and every friend I've ever made has been somebody who came up to me and said, "Hey, we're friends now." I'm like, oh, okay. And he was doing that to me, and it was working on me, and I was feeling it. And then he left that office, and I never saw him or talked to him again.
you should call him.
That's the only way friendships for me could form.
Wasn't he another Matt?
No, his name was Ben.
Can you call him?
Yeah, I'll call him up.
Ben, do you listen?
Ben Kingsley?
It was Ben Kingsley. It was Sir Ben Kingsley. Yes.
Well, after he got knighted, he got so fucking snooty.
He worked at that office 4 weeks before he got knighted.
Right.
But it's funny that J.K. Simmons is like, yeah. So Peter, you've never had that many guy friends, and he's like, well, Dad doesn't have best friends, and he's like, I have 2 best friends. Hank Mardukas has been my best friend since we were at IBM. Hank Mardukas. Talked to him 2 to 3 weeks on the telephone. The other best friend is Robbie. Is my son.
I love that.
Yeah. And they don't play the pain of Paul Rudd, learning, I'm sorry, my dad thinks my younger brother is his best friend, but not me. But my dad didn't have friends. And I think that probably is part of my psychology too, is not seeing it.
That's your perception of your dad, though. The reality is he always has someone to go fishing
That's
with.
what I was going to say. He actually does have friends, but he didn't have friends come over. He didn't talk about his friends. I think this is something he's done more of in his older age.
He's got a little bit more time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And way less children at the house. He only has 1 left. So, you've got to start carving out.
But I went fishing with my dad and his friend, who was his friend who's known him since high school. And that friend, the boat broke down. Boats always break down when I'm with my dad. So his friend calls his wife, and they're on speakerphone. And the wife also knows my dad. And the wife is like, oh, Chris must be devastated that there was interruption in service.
Oh, wow. He even knows his freaking catch
My dad's
phrases.
catchphrase is no interruption in service. And at that moment, I was moved almost to tears that these 2 people who I'd never known about in my life know my dad so well that they know his catchphrases and probably knew that catchphrase from when he was 15 years old in high school. So I'm just saying, if you don't see it, even if he does have friends, I don't know about it. It wasn't something that it wasn't modeled for me. Did your parents have friends?
Yeah, a small group of friends that were always here and there around. Even the ones we didn't see all the time, they would do little group trips with the kids, and we would go, small group.
My mom always had friends, but made her boyfriend just like what I did. All of a sudden, my mom is someone who's really into camping. All of a sudden, my mom is someone that will never dance again. I don't know, just shit. She just kind of now she's a prison guard. How's this happening? But she had two best friends who she always talked about, but they both worked at her work, and they've all been there for like 30 years. I mean, ended up all retiring at like 30 years, and they started together, so they're still friends.
Yeah. Okay, so Paul Rudd.
She's a scored. Sorry, the way Matt labels these slides are to trigger me, and he's labeled
and he
this
pulled
one.
that one up right as you were in the middle of talking. So good job plowing through that.
I got done talking about my mom, and then read "She's a squirter."
She's a squirter.
So that's good.
He's now awakened to the reality. He's put on the They Live glasses and sees, oh, I live in a world where I actually don't have male friends. What's up with that? And then now sees everywhere he goes groups of men bonding. And he just like does a little, hey, or like a little hand wave at the car, and they all look at him like he's a weirdo.
He really,
because he's
Paul
not
Rudd really-
carpooling.
well, and right, he's just a guy saying hi to a bunch of guys in a car.
I always felt like that was a kind of like class judgment moment.
Oh, because he's
like,
he's just a rich guy in a car by
This
himself.
guy doesn't have anyone in his car, or he's not
That's a good.
in California,
in California.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, Class is like not play like this is a movie that's blind to class because it's just like, yeah, these are just normal people who live in $4 million houses in the Hollywood Hills. But yeah, maybe
it is
you're
very simple movie. All pretty much all surface in that way.
Yeah.
But it's in a way that's almost refreshing that it
I
doesn't
agree
have
too.
to.
I
it
got to
doesn't have
focus on the main story.
Stop and dive into
Yes.
everything. It's very like it would be 3 hours long. And
Right,
who's
like just
got
a
that
ton
kind
of
time?
caveats because we all have to address everything all the time. But this movie didn't.
It's very focused. It's hyper focused on the thing it's trying to do.
right. And so he meets like a best friend who is exactly in his tax bracket. So there's no like weird tension there. Like, hey, I'm always paying for things, or
Right.
which I think would be something worth examining. But it's like the movie just wants to be like, why is it difficult for men? Why? But he's so good, Paul Rudd, at being just a little bit off
Yeah.
in his interactions
That's
with
what I
people.
was trying to
There's
say.
nothing terribly wrong with what he's doing. Just like, oh, no, that wasn't it. I don't know.
What did I just say?
In the office, all the women of the office love him. We see him sharing news of his engagement, but it's to women. They're not real people. The only man is Tevin, Rob Hubel, who shows him a porno on his computer screen.
Of an old lady on a sex machine.
Yeah, and this is apparently just something they do in this
Get
office.
on up.
He, as I shared a story on an earlier podcast of men in a business setting showing naked ladies on their phone to me.
There you go.
It's just, this is the kind of guy who wants to do this. Never anyone. Oh, Patrick would do this. Never mind. I'm gonna say never anyone I've done, but no, Patrick definitely did show me 2 Girls, 1 Cup. Like, dude, you gotta see this. You gotta fucking see this.
It's gonna be poop here.
Oh no, he didn't tell me.
Okay, you can't. You got to bury that lead.
That's I love the idea of Patrick showing you that and giving spoilers.
Even this, Patrick.
You want the spoiler-free review before you watch it?
Watch this. There's gonna be a poop.
There's gonna be a number 2 ski. Just wait.
Zoe calls Peter, says it's her turn to host ladies' night. And he's like, well, that's okay. I'm going to fencing after fencing. The class.
Even the word fencing, putting up boundaries.
Lacey.
I know. I won't even stop.
And he's like, well, I'll probably go out for beers with the guys afterward.
And then Lou Ferrigno, what happens when the Hulk shows his emotions? He turns into a monster.
Oh, yeah.
Men aren't supposed to show their emotions.
No, our friend Smash Trivia John has a lot to say about the subject of the Hulk and as a way, of men processing emotions.
Right.
Yeah.
Just saying, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere you look. So, okay, I already shared my whole thing about fencing. But afterward, the guys are like,
Gilliam.
Great picture of Gilliam.
what are you guys doing? Oh, well, like Gilliam getting mad at him. Like he knows it isn't, Paul Rudd knows it isn't personal, but even so, he's probably the type of personality who's like, oh, it doesn't feel good to be yelled at. So we're not, I don't know. I don't feel necessarily safe enough around him.
Yeah, we're not friends like that.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't get like that. So I'm clearly not a man like you're a man.
Whereas the other guys are like, no, we're just guys. We're just bros doing
Right.
bro stuff. And we yell at each other and we call each other pussy and stuff. He tries to invite them to beers, but they're like, no, we're all going on a bachelor party now.
Well, and very key here is that like he's so out of touch with this group of guy friends that he doesn't even know about a major life event that is happening a weekend from now with that one guy.
Yeah.
So if they ever talk, ever spoke, were ever doing anything except for fencing, he'd at least know.
And they don't know about his life. They don't know. They don't even know that he has a girlfriend.
Right. They probably thought he was gay till he said that. They almost seemed relieved. Oh, all right.
I think this is the most I've ever liked Aziz Ansari in his one scene.
Yep.
As an actor I really
the
dislike.
most I've ever liked Rashida Jones.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I generally like Rashida Jones.
I never don't like her, but
Yeah.
I just find her precious in this one.
Yeah, a little, yeah. Wade, Rashida Jones thoughts.
I like Rashida Jones.
All right.
Do you like Karen Filippelli?
I do like Karen
Please cut that entire thing. All right. Now Peter.
Now Peter goes home. And Peter, the ladies' night is still ongoing, but they don't see him coming in. And they're talking about how their favorite times are with each other. And they don't feel guilty because their husbands are always having guys' nights. And so he sneaks off and makes them all root beer floats with chocolate straws.
Fucking wrong vibe. They're getting drunk, you idiot.
Yes, I know. It's a good little detail. Like even
It's
as
a
he's doing
mom
it, you're
thing.
like, this is a little.
I'm telling you, when you view it all
Yeah.
through, he has
Yeah.
been completely socialized
That's totally
by
a-
his mother. She probably even thought he was like too delicate to stay home, so he just went with her. And when you're a real estate agent, you are putting on the face, you are putting on the manners. I mean, her haircut, the way she dresses, everything. It's just like, hi. This is how we chit chat. You look lovely. He's been trained to be this.
And he's so good at putting out a spread, and he
Yes.
decorates it well. And
Yes.
everything. Yes.
And so his career is perfect for him, but he's only a guy that's full of niceties, not depth.
But so he's about to go in, and he overhears them talking about him and how it's weird that he doesn't have a best man. And Rashida Jones is like, it's not a she. Do you guys think like her attitude about this is like, it's fine. It's fine that he doesn't have a male best friend.
I love that that's
I
where
like
it
it.
starts, and I hate that she gets flipped so quickly.
I don't know that it's quick, right? I mean, he
No, it
has
happens in the same scene.
Oh,
So what she
I
started-
see what you're saying.
She says his best friend is his mom in kind of like a snarky, chitty way.
I don't read that as snarky.
I didn't read it snarky either.
I think she's saying it like
They see
sincerely.
this, what I think
but
is
who could say
special
that?
about, but no. I think this
And
is
they
what
all
is-
kind of react to it like they say
do
ew.
it. Yeah, so she's reacting to their reaction, but I think at her core, her heart, she loves this about him, and it's made him a really caring person, the exact kind of person she wants to be around.
But that is the moment where he like gets shy and tries to hide.
Sure, an entire
So
group of women are.
I've always read that as like he thought she was the one person in the room on his side, and then throws him under the bus
sure.
by saying his best friend is his
she
mom.
is literally saying the line from Psycho that Norman Bates says, "A boy's best friend is his mother." So it's like, that is a pointed line, even if
Yeah.
she doesn't. But what I love is this trick that the movie plays of like, now the tray of root beer floats now seems pathetic. Goes from like, oh, you're too cute
they
to.
seemed pathetic from the jump for
okay,
me.
it seems
but,
more pathetic now.
yeah, because look, all the straws are all flaccid. They're not even erect.
And the door swings open because they notice him, and you just have the shot of from his perspective of all the women looking at him and like, oh.
I have been in that moment where you ran away a little bit and you got called back. And like the having to like get the resolve. No, like that you're trying to collect yourself enough to jump, right? Like to go back into the room, whatever
Yeah.
it is. And I can't even think of an example, but like he plays it just right. Just enough of a stall of like, I don't want to go back in there.
Which you just shouldn't. Don't. No, I wasn't here. What are you talking about? And get out of the house, leave. Say, I was at the fencing place all night.
Okay.
Well, so he brings in the root beer floats and they're like, oh, yummy. And Rashida Jones is like, thank you for the floats, baby. That's so sweet. So patronizing.
I don't think so.
It comes across that way.
No,
because
that's the thing, guys. She's very mommy. She just is. She's mommy coded. Like she is this sweet. He is this sweet. That is why they work. That is why it's so nice that they found each other. She is like fucking sugar. And it would be annoying to the average guy. She'd get railroaded by the average guy. But she found a mommy's boy.
well, then it's the magic of the movies that I now bring in this additional context and I'm viewing what she's saying through a different lens. And he goes to the kitchen and says to himself, I got to get some fucking friends. So now begins the sequence of male dating. His brother works at Equinox as a trainer, and his brother's going to help him find male friends. Robbie, Andy Samberg, he likes to have sex with straight men. He's good at converting them. Yeah, if you see a cool looking guy, ask him on a man date, but that means drinks after work or a casual lunch. That's it. So we have the montage of the different things. He's playing poker with John Favreau. I love John Favreau in this movie.
I do
think
too.
He's great.
He's perfect
he's
Favreau.
one of my favorites.
Yeah, and his wife Jamie Presley, and I think they have a relationship that I like a lot.
I love it.
Yeah.
Where it clearly fighting turns them on,
Right.
and they pretend they hate each other, but they're so attracted to each other. Though they keep joking about John Favreau look like being a big slob, but he's hot in this movie. Like, this is the best he's ever looked.
Yeah, and still it's not enough. Look at Paul Rudd. Jesus Christ, what a
Okay.
snack. All right.
But I love the while they're playing poker, Paul Rudd's like, guys, I gotta ask you, Beatles or Stones on the count of 3? And like, who cares?
Fuck you.
These are not his guys.
And then he ends up projectile vomiting on John Favreau. He goes to the Galaxy game, the soccer game. He has dinner with Thomas Lennon, and it goes pretty well. We get the first instance of Paul Rudd's character not being able to do impressions. He's doing the church lady from SNL, but it's never quite right. But this goes well enough that Thomas Lennon ends up kissing him, thinking they were on a date. Yeah. And so in bed later that night, Peter and Zoe are kissing. And she's like, have you
They're
been kissing someone
beginning to
else?
make love.
Shut up. Wait. You know how I feel about up close kissing pictures. Why must you always do this? Her lips are even parted, Matt.
Look at Matt. He's is with so much glee as he's showing us this picture.
But I'm the bad guy. He's going to now make fun of me.
You are the bad guy because you know how much work I put into this show. You know, the very last thing I do is get screenshots, and I'm like rushing, like
Fine. I just think you might be a lot like Woody Allen because you keep fucking picking.
Excuse me,
Goddamn
because I'm a good clarinetist.
that, and you only want fucking smelly kisses as your pictures.
Why do you?
This is literally a smelly kiss.
It is a smelly kiss. She's right, but she thinks every kiss is smelly.
I do. To be fair, I do. I can smell it.
Who, Rashida Jones?
No.
Every
no,
kiss she
every
sees,
kiss.
she says, "Oh, gross."
Oh,
I
Lacey.
smell."
A part they don't
I
smell.
thought
Once
there was
they
a
kiss
part
it,
of the
there's
movie that I missed where
No.
after every time she kisses him, she makes a comment about what it smells like.
No.
Oh, I would hate that. That would ruin
That
the movie for
would
me.
never be okay with me either. Yeah.
Lacey
You
and I
smell
share
like
this
a
thing.
Rush record.
We share this thing that if a character is said to have bad breath, it will bother us.
That is it. That's
Yeah.
it for me. That movie just is that smell.
Anyway, he confesses that he kissed a guy. The guy kissed him.
But
He's
he-
like, what?
But he does it all so God, no one delivers like him.
Yeah, he plays it perfectly.
It's so forgivable instantly. It's so relatable. There's nothing weird about it. He doesn't even have to explain much. He just gets it too. He's the best.
Our wedding party is going to be a little uneven because I thought I had guy friends, but I don't. So I'm trying to make guy friends to make you happy. And she's like, no, I don't care. I just want you to be happy. So it's like the movie could end here. I think it's a little strange that it's like, she doesn't put any pressure whatsoever on him. And maybe maybe there should be one more scene of...
I don't think so. He stops here, Matt. He does not pursue men after this. He just happens to meet the one and only.
That's true.
And then this even explains it to, why can't I think of his name?
Sydney?
Fife. Yeah, to Sydney that no, I'd stopped looking. And then you just stumbled into an open house. And
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah.
yeah, it's an excellent point.
It's not that good.
It's pretty good.
I'd love to find out that Sydney's middle name is Drummond.
Sydney Drummond? Why?
Drummond Fife.
Drummond Fife.
I think.
The drum joke.
Oh, wrong podcast, Wade.
Nope.
Wrong.
Peter's
Making a lot of mouth noises.
hosting an open house at Lou Ferrigno's house. And Jason Segel is there. It's 30 minutes into the movie. We meet Jason Segel finally.
Fucking God.
He-
I don't even know how to fire you fast enough. I don't. Oh,
to fire you.
get the fuck out of here.
You fired. Yeah, Jason Segel is there. He likes to go to...
Also, clearly we reused the bottles, Wade. What the fuck? That was a reused.
You crushed our bottle!
It's a habit.
Get the fuck out of here!
It's a habit. It takes up less space
You know how
in
many
the trash.
planets had to die to make that fucking bottle?
Oh no!
Yeah. That's right.
I like.
They're made entirely out of the core of Pluto.
That is the black hole that made that of supernova.
It would be funny if we find out gasoline is actually made of planets. Every time you
We've
drive,
been destroying universes.
It is.
no, it is.
We've been destroying everything else. This really is it.
This is it.
There's
This-
no
When you think about it, everything is made out of planet.
No, we are all made of stardust. It's true. He's right, Lacey. Stop giving him that look.
No, I was just checking out my own face.
Jason Segel likes to go to these. Sidney Fife likes to go to these open houses and get free food, but he's not a moocher. He's like actually very successful at investing. He just likes to eat
Another
free food,
LA job.
trying to of make believe job that pays me well and you never see me doing anything.
Yeah.
Where he is looking for a rich divorcee, and he and Peter kind of click because he's a fart detector. Which is what Paul Rudd's been looking for my whole life.
You know what it is, and because when I'm watching, I'm like, okay, what is it that is? You watch him go on all these dates that just aren't right for him, and so as soon as he comes in the picture, I'm like studying it, like what's going on here? And it's just that they're both very honest and they're thinkers. They like to think about people and what they're doing and why they're doing it, and that's what makes them click.
There's got to be some significance to the fact that all the other dates were, the contexts of some
Forced friendship.
forced circumstances, forced friendship, and like foreign worlds to him.
Right. Poker
Whereas
is so guy coded.
This happenstance, this chance meeting is
On
basically by his own design.
On his turf. That's a good point, Wade.
It's in his element and it's at his best. He's never been given a property like this one, right? So he's being and the thing with real estate is once you get a property like this, it's your first time, we're all faking it. Another agent isn't going to help you figure out how to do this. They want a piece of the action. That is true. It is a zero-sum game in real estate. So he really is kind of like off on his own on this one.
But I'm saying he's down to the environment. Like he has curated this space.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And
he's safe.
this is the time that it works.
Yes,
Right.
yeah, that's a great point. Yeah.
I didn't even think about it though, but you're right. Like the soccer game is just a big yelling match, and then poker, he pisses off the fucking host by accidentally winning. You can't help if you win.
Poker is just fencing where you can see their faces.
Yep, and take their money.
Yeah.
God, I didn't even make that connection to poker because John Favreau gets mad at him for defeating him,
So
which is the exact same thing that happened in the fencing match.
So he challenges.
asshole, Peter.
So he challenges him to like a manly thing that he thinks he can't do, and it literally blows up in his face. He's like, "Yeah, I'd like to see you pound these beers, and you've done it. Fuck me." Yeah.
And Jason Segel's never in a adversarial position to Paul Rudd.
Right.
But this is kind of like him meeting a friend at work.
Yeah.
He just finally met a good person at work. So, yeah, he's very impressed with his fart detection skills.
Who's trying to help him?
Uh-huh.
That's different. At work, they wouldn't. If this was another real estate agent, he would not be trying to help.
Yeah, he's helping him by explaining, well, first, I'm not here to buy the house. I'm just here to get free food. Paul Rudd's not even mad. That guy, trust me, that guy's not interested in this house. He's just trying to impress that woman, and he has to fart. And that's how you can tell they'd never had sex, because he has to fart, which I don't agree with that. But
I know you don't. But
I know you know I don't, and that you disagree with that. So, yeah, Peter's
Still
like...
makes for a good monologue, though.
I
does.
I fucking love it. And it smells like farts.
Yeah, roll down the windows in that car, honey. And the little look he shoots back at him after he said,
I'll say that Lacey and I were dating for 1 year, and we took a trip together to Seattle, and we were at a Barnes and Noble, and I went to the bathroom, and I was like, "Hey, I'll be back. I'm gonna go look for some books." And I came back and sat down at like the Starbucks next to her, and Lacey's just like, "I know what you were doing." And I was like, "Yeah, that was 1 year into our relationship. She finally acknowledged, I know what you're doing when you go to the grocery store."
Right. I've literally found you at the grocery store because I was going to Rouse's to like pick up wine before going to your house, and you thought I'd get to your house while you were shitting, so you went to Rouse's to shit.
Winn-Dixie, but yeah.
Winn-Dixie, whatever. Grocery store.
yeah, we don't go to Rouse's anymore.
So that's how long it took for me, was 1 year. And that was because, and if you never said anything, I'd still never acknowledge that I shit.
We would just have to live next to a Winn-Dixie.
Yeah,
Men don't shit, ladies.
Oh,
they don't.
they poot.
Ew!
That's
Every
worse.
time you put a kiss on the screen, I'm going to say poot. Poot, poot, poot.
It's on.
All right, let's go.
All right.
And you're going to wear that cheerleader outfit tonight.
So I love you. So as Sydney leaves, Peter watches him and, he feels a frenzying. This might be maybe the guy, even though I gave that up. But suddenly I found love. This is how you find love, is you stop looking. You work on you. You go to the gym. You start feeling better about yourself. And then, boom, the perfect guy, best guy you ever met, comes into your life. Later, he's talking to Robbie, and they're talking about how nervous he is to call Sydney. This is directly from the Seinfeld episode. Then he leaves that long, rambling voicemail
Which
for
is so
Sydney.
good. Oh, it's so good. Sorry.
This is where you have the annoying Apatow cuts and even continuity errors of him just going on riffs. And I know it's fine. It's fine.
I love it. It's some of the best stuff. So I don't get you at all.
So he's not, well,
You're just not.
it's not an improv movie, but will then have improv sections. And Apatow movies have a generally looser feeling to them all.
I got you. But I don't think you can have a Paul Rudd without improv moments.
He's just so powerful, you have to let him go?
No, he just is. He is improv. He is chaos. He's going to make magic out of his little mouth.
So then Paul Rudd stops by the yarn store and the ladies, they're
women.
They're eating salads because ladies love their salad. And they're talking
Gotta
about
watch
the
our
man.
figures.
Yeah. And when he's there, he gets his call from Sydney.
So he's invited out for tacos, but he's still got the stupid rules in his head. So he's just going to do drinks, trying to be cool. They have a great, charming conversation. Wade, help me out here. What all do we need to know about this scene?
This is where they are officially hanging out socially, and the walls start coming down already.
Right. They start
On their
talking
first date.
about what question does he ask him?
How's the sex?
How about the sex?
Oh, right. And
how
that's
about the sex?
And that's where he admits out loud for the first time to anyone, and maybe even to himself, that he wishes he got blowies more often.
Yeah.
Blowies from Zoe.
Yeah, I mean,
What? Should have been the title.
Yep.
but he just by starting off with that's a little private, don't you think? This is again, I think the 90s, maybe in the 90s men weren't talking about
I think
this.
it's the real estate mom. Okay,
real
let's
estate
not
mom.
let's
I
not
think
get
it's
into
both.
politics and
It's-
let's not get into religion.
I
We're
get
just
a
trying to
little
sell
bit
a
of both.
house.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's trying to sell the house.
Yeah, that's right. He
He's trying to close it, right? This whole
Right.
every time every interaction, he's just trying to make sure he leaves a good impression.
he's still at
That's
work, and Siegelman is taking him to fish tacos.
And also he still kind of has this facade of we're going to talk about real estate.
Yep. He
Right,
even
that's
said
what I
that.
was trying to
Yeah.
say. Is he's trying to talk about real estate,
Right.
Because there is I definitely feel it. If I was trying to make a new friend, I would feel really self-conscious about take time out of your day and just be with me for pleasure.
Right.
The pleasure of my company. That doesn't sound worth it.
Right. Let's do the pretense of I'm going to show you how to use after hours Illustrator. Help me. Afterwards.
After Effects.
That's it. After hours.
That's why it's nice when afterward he's like, no, I just wanted to, he seemed like a good guy. I thought we could hang out.
But I get I'm refreshed as shit by he's just charisma coming out the wazoo, this fucking Jason Segel. In Forgetting Sarah Marshall, isn't his name Peter?
I don't remember.
All
Is
right,
it?
it's fine. It doesn't matter. I love how instantly having this friend and just having this tall, charismatic guy vouch for him automatically starts making him more socially acceptable in every area of his life. Yep. His name is Peter.
Wow.
Peter Bretter.
And Kevin Levin or whatever. Okay. Because
Kookabukin.
he's just so open. But then you realize, okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Peter gets drunk
They
and has
get
a really
drunk.
nice fucking time. And
They
then
eat tacos. Jason Segel even has to encourage him to eat with his hands.
and he's resistant at first. He's like, no, I'm going to ruin this if I have dinner. We're not supposed to have dinner. And then he's like, fuck you, you're having dinner. Okay, I'm having dinner.
Yeah.
And this is the first time he cancels plans with Zoe on a Sunday. But she's so pumped for him. She even thinks it's cute that he came home drunk and tipsy and he had to take a cab because he does not cut loose like this. This is not a cut looser.
You can tell it's a good relationship because he
Yep.
has no shame about telling her,
Yep.
I'm a little drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, this forces him to say that he's actually not that satisfied with their sexual relationship. I think if you're a Jason Segel type, it's actually easy to bond with a repressed person. It's like, it's good. The more
You're a
repressed
coach.
they are.
Well, he is a coach in this whole thing, and that's what I was saying. What I love is like instantly Peter becomes better at just being around everyone because of Sydney. Not like literally because Sydney is like making him more cool just by the proximity to him, but like he's saying cool things about Peter that he would never think to share about himself. Like he's too polite to say, I do this. Do you do that? Yeah, it's like he can't rise above pleasantries until someone makes him.
And I think Paul Rudd does a great job of drunk acting, which is he plays
Understated. Yep.
Yeah. When people are drunk, they act like they're not drunk. That's what they're trying to do.
Right.
I don't want you to notice I'm drunk. And
then
that's how he plays it.
When he's alone waiting for, I don't know how to call a cab. And he's walking in that weird walk doing something fun with his legs. I'm like, yeah, that's relatable.
And I love how genuine Paul Rudd's reaction to Jason Segel's Andre the Giant impression is.
Yeah.
He's like spitting on himself.
Although there is this like thread that seems like they're going to follow through the movie of Jason Segel being like a little bit of a
hothead.
Of like a man clan, like manosphere guy. He's like, we're men. We think about sex every second of the day. We're not supposed to talk about it.
He doesn't say men think about sex every second. He said we think about. Right. And that's true because this movie does a great job of showing you like the women are equally talking about this. It's equally important. He's locking that tongue down. Yeah, I always felt like that could be like kind of a mismatch for this movie, but the point is just that Jason Segel's character is authentic and in touch with what he has impulses to do. He's not ashamed of them. It's
uninhibited.
Right. And it's his lack of shame that allows him to say exactly what is on his mind and just be real, even if the news is bad.
And in 2009, talking about like my masculine energy was not like Nazi.
It was not
coded.
toxic. Right.
It was just a thing.
Yeah.
Well, he's wearing Ugg boots. I mean, how fucking masculine
That's
can
what
he
I was
be?
going to point out.
Yeah.
This wardrobe. He's always wearing these cargo shorts with patterns of like palm trees and stuff.
Bathing suit, my guy.
That's a bathing suit, my guy.
He's wearing winter snow boots.
I am not
ready
your
to get in
guy.
the pool. You are gonna be.
So what happens then? Well, Tevin, Rob Hubel at work, is like, you got to get yourself out there. Look, I have all these advertisements. You know who took this picture of me? M. Night Shyamalan. my face is in all these urinal cakes. People know me. But Peter's like, I guess he's inherited from his mom. Like, no, advertising is uncouth. I don't do that.
Right.
But he decides at work, like, you know who I'd really like to see is Sydney. So they go meet up at the Venice Beach Boardwalk.
Sydney's always available.
I'd like to toss in that Rob Hubel mentions Bennigan. Or no,
it's Segel that says,
Segel says,
I pissed on that guy in
face in a Bennigan's. And Matt and I have a very special connection to Bennigan's.
Wade, I do have in my notes later on that he shouts out Bennigan's and that it is a very important part of Wade and I's story.
And we'll get to it then.
Big part of our lore.
Great. I can't wait.
It's essential for our lore. So yeah, the dog is named Anwar Sadat because he looks like Anwar Sadat. This is a Seinfeld joke. I mean, it's also like these people are too young to know who Anwar Sadat is, but if this was written in 1997, it makes sense.
Yep.
Do we think the dog looks like Anwar Sadat?
Not enough for me to have named him that. Nope. I've seen a lot of dogs look like Robert De Niro. I'm serious.
I believe it.
They just have to have a mole right here.
Not enough to look like him, but enough for the joke to land.
Sure.
It would be funny.
And again, if you know who Anwar Sadat is.
Right.
Well, if they wrote that in the script and, Larry Levin's like, that Anwar Sadat joke stays, and they're like, okay, fine, fucking put a casting call out for a dog that looks like Anwar Sadat.
Well, and I guess we'll need a poster in Jason Segel's man layer so that people can see what Anwar Sadat looks like.
And then just because this is how movies are made, they had to find 10 dogs who look like Anwar Sadat.
Right.
Jesus.
Because, they kill one after every take.
Of course.
So he lets his dog shit in the middle of the sidewalk, and when someone objects, he just hulks out at them because he's full of testosterone. And he's like, come on, don't you want to let loose? Come onto the boardwalk and yell. And Paul Rudd's like, Rah!
I love that.
Who doesn't want to tell someone to mind their own fuckhole at least once a day?
And I love that after he gets Paul Rudd to start yelling and yelling, it's just very relatable. He's like walking out front or the boardwalk, just going, ah. Still
he's
know how to do it.
Now he's into it. And the reaction of all the people on top of the boardwalk to the unseen screaming.
My yell is I just go, Meh.
That's not Otis Redding at all. Under the
boardwalk.
No. Go on.
Down by the sea.
Okay.
I mean, I like that the movie is it's an inversion of the, like, Along Came Polly is one of those manic pixie dream girl movies. A quirky girl, her whole idea is to make your life better. And this is a male version of it. I'm going to make your life better, Paul Rudd. I don't have any life of my own. My function is just for you. But he brings him to his man cave. And he has like a photo of a turtle smoking a cigarette or a fish smoking a cigarette. I don't know.
Okay.
He also has his jerk off station. And again, he's like, masturbation is a part of life.
All right.
Dudes masturbate. So do chicks.
Okay.
Suddenly we're on the opposite coast.
You don't talk to your Jersey girlfriend and your friends about masturbation.
We don't listen to Rush. We listen to Boston.
Yeah.
So he asks him, like, well, when's the last time you jacked off? And he's like, well, it was last weekend.
I wanted to know your opinion, unless you're full of shit when you tell me what you jerk off to. When he's so disgusted that he jerked off to a picture of Zoe in a bikini.
Let's all
If I
have
were
a go
disgusted
around.
by that?
No, I wanted to see if you're embarrassed by it, because you jerk off to things of me.
Sure.
Pictures of me.
Yeah.
How are you not understanding what I'm asking you right now?
What's your question?
Jesus fucking Christ. Wade, do you understand what I'm saying?
I think so.
That, like, how did you feel about Jason Segel's reaction? Big reaction.
Oh, I disagree
to
with
learning
him.
this.
No, I think
it's still fucking funny though.
It's
funny.
hilarious.
Yes, it's funny. This is that's sick.
Like, sick.
But no, but I'm sorry, my girlfriend Rashida Jones. And so then what happens? Well,
Nobody's curious about me?
Wade, go ahead.
What do you jerk off to, Wade?
The furniture catalog.
Okay, that's fine.
See his catalog.
Just like JV Vance. What is this?
JD Vance.
JD
No, he
Vance.
fucks this furniture.
That's why it's funny what I fucking said. He's
No, it
looking
makes
at
no
pictures
sense.
of couches.
Oh,
it's
that
a
is funny.
furniture catalog.
That is funny.
You fucking obtuse idiot.
That's
all right.
Because he does fuck them.
Yes,
but
'cause
when
he
he's not
fuck-
fucking them, he
right,
thinks
so-
about fucking.
God damn it.
This week on Lacey Explains My Jokes.
There
That's
we
a
go.
good joke,
Yeah,
love.
I know. We should probably.
All right, so now Paul
redo
Rudd is
that.
like,
So you
wait a
slap.
minute, you have all these instruments, which would be the first thing he'd notice. And then he's like, hey, you have lots and lots of Rush posters.
Okay, but wait. I think it is adorable how he walks into this man cave. Like, he's truly blown away. And he's a real estate agent. You've got to think he's seen plenty of man caves, right? Even if he doesn't have a lot of friends.
It's the man cave of wonders.
Well, it's not that. It is his
Aladdin,
cave.
anyone?
No, shut up. It is what Paul Rudd would do. I think he walks in and like feels an immediate kinship to this guy. He is surrounding himself with things I would do this with.
She's nailed it, because I wrote in my notes, this looks too art directed. This should be a mess. But that's why they're clicking, because
Yes.
actually Jason Segel is like Paul Rudd.
He is, and you
Because
never
he can
see his
appreciate
house.
a good spread. He is kind of finicky. He's like, he wants
Yeah.
his things the way they are.
He wants the best of things, which is why he gets the best fish tacos. He wants to be a connoisseur. He wants to be able to tell people where the best things are.
So at work, Peter gets a call from Lou Ferrigno. He's mad. They haven't had any offers on the house. And then Sydney comes into the work and starts doing like pickup artist stuff on the receptionist.
So cute. Not that part.
That's my mom's name.
That's his-
Everything's his. I wish the names got a little bit more like ridiculous as the movie went on. That way, my name's it's Paul because my dads are gay. That's my mom's name.
Anyway, hey, you want to come over and jam? Yes, I do. They're at the portion of the friendship where they're like, I just want to be with the guy a lot.
So now we need a reason.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah. Would you just want to be with me? Okay, yeah. So they go. Peter plays bass. Sydney plays guitar. Now they love Rush. They're both super into Rush, and
Peter
they play
sings
Tom Sawyer.
as well.
Tom Sawyer.
Peter sings. Like he adds more than just the bass.
Okay.
Also love the addition of the way he kind of trails off as he's saying, I played the bass in high school jazz band.
Mm-hmm.
So like it wasn't just a hobby; he was serious about it.
Yeah.
Right. Jazz is like that's going
Right.
to be real bass. And
It was his
okay.
extracurricular.
And we see that even Rashida Jones and probably no one in his life knows how silly this guy likes to be, how goofy, how he likes to dig into a bit and make the most ridiculous faces and sounds and just see what his body can do and just have someone tit for tat go back and forth. Not just someone letting him do it, but someone like participating in it.
Egging him on.
I don't think he's ever had this in his fucking life. You know who he would have had it with? A younger brother. He was too old to have a younger brother, big brother situation. His dad was a serious man. So this is a guy that's had this inner goofy nerd that has never felt like he could really do it. I would marry Jason Segel if this were happening to me. And he tries it on Rashida Jones, and to her credit, she takes a lot of it, and she doesn't give it back, though. And she's like, for the sake of our marriage, stop our relation. So, you know, there's certain things with certain people, like the way I act with my best friend Kim, who was my friend from years and years and years ago, is not how I would ever act with Matt, because he just doesn't think it's funny.
And I've never met this best friend, Kim. So
Yeah.
sounds like a real best friend. Wade, I'm sorry I don't remember. How do you feel about Rush?
I like Rush.
Now ask him
But
about
is it-
fish.
But they're not Fish. They're
They're not as fast.
Are they one of your bands?
Rush, no. It's funny you mentioned Fish, though, because I think John Fishman is one of the few people who could step in for Neil Peart.
What an accessible conversation. All right.
That is the drummer
This
from
is
Fish.
why you have me. This is why I'm here, just to have my own little party.
Fishman is from Fish?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know there was a man named Fishy in Fish.
Is there a Rushmore
I
in
know
Rush?
Anselm Trey Anastasio. I know that name.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson, and the drummer Jim Rush.
Okay, but them playing Tom Sawyer, isn't this being like, I love Radiohead so fucking much. Let's play Creep.
Sure, but they wanted
No.
the immediate.
No, I
all of
don't-
Rush's
That's the one Rush song.
Stop, but
No,
all of
it's
Rush's
not.
songs are super complicated vocally. I mean, I
You
know
have to
that
be
they're
in a high school jazz band in order to...
exactly. So like he's playing something well tread, yes, but they both need to know it already, so they don't have to practice. And they're just trying it out, man. Shut up.
Okay, I assumed that if you're a Rush fan, you hate Tom Sawyer. That was my impression. On Spotify, it has 3 times as many listens as their second biggest song.
That's just because of this movie.
So how is your impression
guess what
that
this-
people don't like it then?
Just from talking to people.
The second one, Limelight. Because
That's
of this
right.
movie.
Okay, good. What's the third?
Jesus.
I'm doing the thing Lacey says I do.
because you do it.
Wait, I will think of this
You're the only-
organically. And it's Spirit of Radio.
That's it.
Yeah, you've met your match, Matt.
So now Paul Rudd finally lets out his inner male rage and hulks out. And he is doing it while doing a thing with another man, you know?
Yeah.
He goes back home. Rashida Jones is like, I don't understand. What do you do for 7 hours? And he's like, well, we jam. And she's like, what does that mean? He's like, well, I play the bass guitar. And she's like, I'm sorry, what? And he's like, yeah, I slap on the bass.
See, and you said this doesn't make sense, and I say it fully makes sense. It makes sense.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's one that's made it into the global lexicon and
Slap at a bass, yeah.
For
But
sure.
isn't he referencing something?
No, he made it
I
up.
don't think so.
He has to be
no,
referencing
no,
something.
he's not. This is the first time it was ever said that way. I'm sure people have said that you slap. Maybe you could say slap the bass, but slap a da bass.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the YouTube commenters who like to correct you.
Bring it on, you fucking males.
She has never heard of Rush, has never heard Rush. He's like, oh, well, get ready to have your fucking ass fucked.
I love that.
Listen to this.
And then he plays it on the weakest little
Yeah.
speakers and she has to lean in. How fucking flaccid.
But he's like, good, huh?
She's like, but she's being a sweetie.
Yeah.
She's like, all right, yeah, I'm getting
That
Rushified.
maybe that joke aged better than all the other ones, the tiny speakers.
Oh yeah. When I hear Lacey listening to our podcast on her phone's built-in shitty speaker, I get so mad.
Hey, wait, this phone's better because now I got a 16
Still get
Pro.
mad. Still get mad. Like you won't hear all the little audio nuances I put in.
Listen to the bass in my voice.
So he keeps saying slap at the bass, and then she says, please stop. Please stop. Okay, I have to credit user Orb Dylan on Reddit who pointed out
Thanks, Orb Dylan.
Or
this,
Dylan.
this is the new version. Orb Dylan says he's standing right behind me, isn't he? I say it's so that happened. But they pointed out
What?
He's
that
he's getting to his point
so
in
so
reverse.
the cliche in movies of shitty line that people keep putting in is so that happened, or he's standing right behind me, isn't he? As they talk about the person.
But that one's funny.
Yeah.
That's not funny.
It's always funny.
So they point out the new version of that they're noticing, and I was like, oh my God, you're right, is...
God, this is how you ruin my life. This is how you go on.
So
This is
here,
how you
I'll
ruin
just,
my life.
they're talking about the TV show The Studio. At the start of episode 3, around the 1 minute mark, Catherine Hahn says Dave Franco is going to line up those ladies moister than an oyster. And then another character responds, please don't say that ever again. It's like, people are saying that a lot, is don't ever say that. Please don't say that.
God, they do. And it's never funny. That's how I know that the other one is funny. The two examples were bad. The one was good, and I'm right.
Because even just invoking the possibility of someone standing behind you is funny.
Yes. That's fucking... I want to say it right now, and you would laugh, Wade. You would laugh so hard.
Let's
Try
see.
me.
That pee-pee would come out of your penis hole.
Let's
Try
see.
me.
Yeah. Live experiment.
He's standing behind me.
I peed.
I knew it! All right. Now, Matt's going to tell you a super racist theory of the universe. Go on, Matt. Talk about the
Ooh,
Chinese.
That was a good segue, too.
All right. Well, they're having their engagement party at this restaurant called Hop Louie. And the reason I'm racist is because...
He came to bed so excited about this.
All right, so there is an awkward scene where Rashida Jones says to the owner of the restaurant, Mr. Chu, of course we'd have our engagement party here. We'd not dream of going anywhere else.
Based on what, Rashida? The fuck are you talking about? Not to mention that it's Peter's parents who threw this shindig. You have nothing to do with it. You didn't make this call. They did.
All right, so
What are you talking about?
So this restaurant is Hop Louie. It's a famous restaurant in Chinatown of LA that's now closed. However, where I was wrong and racist is I was looking at, I've become obsessed with every single movie director comes from a super rich family. And so I was just looking up directors. So who directed the biggest movies of recent years? Wicked. Okay. Who's John Chu's family? John Chu's parents own the restaurant Chu's Chinese, which is like a super iconic, trendy Chinese restaurant that caters to movie stars, but I was wrong. That's not this restaurant. I was just confused because she literally says Mr. Chu, and this seemed kind of Trumpian that you'd have to have this insert shot.
Right. Welcome to the Trump Hotel. Look at this escalator. Okay, bye, movie.
We will let you film here if I get a cameo. But the person she's talking to is actor Ping Wu. This isn't the owner of the restaurant.
Oh, well, damn, I'm sorry to have ruined your theory.
What is going on?
I think it's the first evidence of what you were complaining about, bad direction. I think that was meant to be tied up and didn't get tied up.
Zoe finally meets Sydney. They meet.
I know this feeling. I feel like they do this well. This like anticipation of like, I know this is an important person in your life. God, I hope they like me. And I always I remember thinking, oh, this movie's pretty... I kind of like how they make it will they like each other? I don't know. I don't feel like you get to see that dynamic. It's a trope in real life, but I don't feel like in a movie I've really gotten to see it where both sides equally want the other person to like them. It's just they can't seem to gel it right away.
Yeah, I've made a really great friend really fast. I think that
you have
I'm
the lady at the bus stop.
I have made a really intense new friendship really fast. How is my partner going to feel about that? They're going to try to be supportive, but there is going to be a little element of, I hope they like me. Also, I am a little threatened because this upsets the order of what I understood. Also, I get less access to my partner now.
Well, if I am picking up on the vibes, I think she wanted a little bit less access. I mean, he's just a very accessible guy. That's not attractive. So maybe if you moved out, Matt, things could get a lot sexier. Where's Matt? I can't access him.
I did want sexy to come back. I love that.
Bringing sexy back by leaving.
I did love.
Fuck the Wade corner, everybody. Waka, waka, waka.
I'm just here to.
Okay. You're doing good, Wade. You're doing good.
I love that his meeting the best friend almost upstages their entire situation.
Everything this man attends is about him. Like, he just can't help it. He's tall,
yeah, but
majestic.
Haley is the one who can make it about her.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Zoe's best friend.
Oh, yeah. She's
Sex on the beach. You never know.
You never know.
It's
so Paul Rudd because she's definitely just vamping, and it's like that perfectly doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's very real what you just said.
Sarah Burns, I love her in everything. She's not. She should be in more stuff, but she's very funny as Haley.
She has an unconventional look, so she'll never get to be in everything else, Matt.
Yep. Jamie Presley. What's her character's name?
Fucking
Denise.
hot tits.
Denise.
Yeah.
And John
This
Favreau
guy with the
arrive.
smoking hot wife.
And I love that he's mad because he's like, you said it was a drop by. It's
Why
like,
would
it's
it
an
be-
engagement party.
Why would it be a fucking drop by?
He's so angry.
We made it to the point with the J.K. Simmons line.
Okay.
And it actually begins with the whole John Favreau at the bar thing. Like everything he says in this bit is just gold. The Belvedere on the rocks, something with sour mix in it for her. The way he walks in with a toothpick and then
He flips it in to give a
flips
kiss.
it all the way back into his mouth until he's left alone at the bar with Peter and he doesn't care anymore. And then it
flips
just
it out.
pops right back out.
Wow.
And the whole thing about, oh yeah, we jam. Do you want to jam with us? No. Well, don't you play an instrument? No. Don't you have a piano? Why do you have a piano?
Decorator
put it there. And then he goes to check on the table, and when
I'm going to check on the table.
that's what he says, I'm going to go check on the table.
It's there.
And he tells Denise, obviously trying to get the hell out, he says, it smells like a fucking pet shop in here.
Okay, that's not funny.
And as everyone
Oh.
is trying to pull away from him, you can hear J.K. Simmons underneath all the talking say, oh, Mr. Sunshine here.
Oh.
And I love that so much. That it's almost not even there. It's you gotta go
Okay.
digging for it.
The
Things that make me go,
Okay.
Jamie
Oh, I have a
Presley-
soundboard too. Did you know?
So they give the speech. Jason Segel stands up and he's like, I want to give a toast to my best friend, Peter, I think his name is. He's a great pleasure giver. And what's your name? Rashida Jones? Give it back. And then everybody's like, huh? What? Scandal.
Oh.
In the car, she's mad at you, told Sydney that I don't give you blowjobs.
Let's go up against BJ's.
She's going to get some beach.
And he's like, but how is that different from what you tell your friends? And she's like, well, it's different just because, it just is. She's like, listen, it's not that I don't want to suck your dick, but it's just I was in a bad relationship with a guy and he ruined it for me. But he had intimacy issues. By the end of the relationship, if I tried to touch him, he would shiver.
Leads to another one of Paul Rudd's great faces when she says that.
And she's like, look, I want to do it with you. And he's like, okay, well, it's a good thing that my new friend has forced me to be open about my needs and my feelings. And she's like, oh yeah, I guess. It's almost like this guy is a good thing that has happened to our lives. Yes, it is. It's like that.
Yes, let us.
But, he's like, but I just feel like some things should just remain between the two of us. And I like that idea. I kind of wish the movie were digging more into it about what is something that just stays between a romantic partner. What do you tell your friends? What do you not tell your friends? All that shit. But this is a good scene. I like the scene. I think they're both very good here.
Yeah.
So they play golf.
And this is why you should not force Sidney Fife to do anything he says he does not want to do. It's not going to go well. He knows, that man knows himself.
But-
he knows.
Yeah.
Okay. But he has another like Bill Simmons-y like manosphere thing. He's like, no, I told you I don't play sports with women.
Because he's done it. And it's bad. Like he's too competitive. He too much wants to do the sport and not the girl version of the sport, which I'm not being sexist. They are learning. So like he also wouldn't want to do this with a kid. I think you would think he would fire back at the angry entitled golfing men, like, hey, we paid our money for this green course as well.
Yeah,
whatever.
Rate of play.
But all of a sudden, no, his properness, his like, no. I want to follow the rules. I am a rule follower. We are the ones breaking the rules. This is why I don't like doing stuff like this. It is a timed sport. It is stressful. You don't like it when someone ends up behind you and they're like watching you play. I've never done it, but I don't like it in putt-putt.
Yeah, I would immediately just like get out of line. Like, oh, you go ahead.
All right, yeah, you play through. That's a thing. But
she hits a ball into his shin.
it's really bad though.
And he shouts, motherfucking cock in my fucking shit. This is my nightmare.
This is my nightmare.
So it does not work out. But there's a Rush concert to go to. And they'll go ahead and invite Zoe because Paul Rudd was supposed to spend his date night with her watching HBO on Sunday night, which is something we still do, everybody.
Yeah,
HBO has a lot of quality programming. Check it out.
But they live together, so wouldn't they be having date nights like
No, it's Sunday.
Every night?
No, it's Sunday specifically for HBO. That's when all the premiere shows
Yeah, I
come
know
out.
that's HBO.
Well,
but
that's
like,
all they do. Date night is Sunday. That
Yeah.
is their special night.
Find another date night.
Nope, that's when the they don't have like recorded live TV yet.
Yes, they do.
No, they have to watch it when it comes out. You wait all week for these shows. You want to tell me to not watch Severance when that fucking comes out? You can go eat a dick. I'm going to watch it. That's their special night, Matt. It's relatable. It makes sense. Everyone shut up.
So,
Did you guys know that Amazon has TV channels now? And
Gross.
that
Is it just products?
No, about 17 minutes ago on one of their channels, I Love You Man started playing.
well,
Thanks, Amazon, sponsor of this and all Load Bearing Beams episodes.
They give us free
We
Prime.
love Load Bearing Bezos.
ew.
Just kidding.
Just imagine him holding up stuff.
Bees nuts.
So she goes along, and Peter and Sydney are like rushing out. They're getting really into it. They're like licking each other's taints and stuff. And she is like, this is a little strange.
Because there's Sydney and petering it out, not rushing out. Like that they are doing a Kim and Lacey in front of other people. It's uncomfortable for everybody. We understand.
There were lots of dudes there licking each other's bases.
It's like, no.
But it is cute that it's now afterward, but he's talking on the phone with him
Right.
about the concert
The
they were
set
just
list.
at.
It's totally something you do.
Yeah, yes, but this is the 90s. Like, no, okay, you're texting about this. I'd be texting with, I can't believe they didn't play Seven Nation Army. And you're like, get over it, bitch. That's what he sounds like. So
And you and I had 7 hours in the car to talk about that.
I know, but you were too busy smooching your girlfriend.
That's not
Ew,
true.
Wade.
I was burping and farting like a man.
You were smooching too. You were
I don't
smooching with
like
everyone.
That. You smooch with Sunny, long legs, and the long legs with the gimpy legs.
sunny long legs.
Bony Bob. That's what I should. Bony Bob. So she's like, it's like I wasn't even there. He's like, I'm sorry, what? And she's like, yeah, it's just like you invited me to the concert and that's cool, but then you were totally ignoring me or something. I feel like I'm losing you a little bit. What do you think about this, Lacey?
I think that she's dealing with a big change all at once after a day that was quite the letdown. I think you got to give her credit. She introduces her best friend to his best friend, and he's kind of a dick to her. Her best friend does not go home happy. That would sour me on the guy. But she
true.
still says yes to the concert, goes in good faith and in a good mood, and just wants a little bit of attention. And when Sydney's in the room, he sucks the air out of the room, or he sucks the Peter out of it. And sometimes there just are friends where it's better that you just do things alone because it alienates everyone else. And you two deserve to have all the fun you want, but it does come at the expense of other people if there's not someone else for the other person to hang out with.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think she is. And there's just something about like, I'm just seeing a side of my fiance that I've never seen before. And like, that's fine, but I don't know. Something unnerving about it.
Well, and he's never seen it in himself before. If they wanted to take time just because he's learning things about himself that he didn't even know about, I think that would have been fair. But they do have a tiny break and they can't stand it.
I do think they play up her like frustration a little too quickly for there being like one song. But it's 104 minutes. You got to move it along.
I think I thought so
he
too.
puts
But
his shirt over his head. They are weird. They're fucking weird.
I think
I mean, what do you think of this?
Weird.
I think you're weird. Judgment weird. I think I agreed with you, Wade, that it's like we know this needs to happen, that she needs to get frustrated with this, so we need to move this along. But what Lacey just said, that this is the same day that he was an asshole to her friend, does make a little more sense.
Absolutely.
But maybe she needs to say that when she yells at Paul Rudd.
But she's being nice.
She is
right?
being nice.
She's nice. He's nice. They're both figuring out how to be more honest with each other. That's part of the movie too.
There is so little conflict, like between
the two of them,
between everyone, pretty much in this movie. Like the stakes are never that high, and I really like that.
I do too, and I
like these people. I like they're nice people. I want them to just have nice times together, and I don't
they
want them to
mostly
have
do.
to go through the movie fights.
I feel like Sydney's not a real character, though.
What? He absolutely.
Jason Segel.
Is that why you have him in blurry in the background there? He's
I
just
love
like
his sweater.
He's
in
like
this.
the guy in the Pet Shop Boys who doesn't sing.
His outfit is perfection in this scene.
I think Jason Segel's very charming, but there's not that. I don't know. He exists to be dilemma or the thing, the injection of blood into the water that makes.
He's the help.
He's
the,
Tinkerbell.
Yeah, he's Tinker. He's not blood in the water. He's a fucking fairy godfather. He
Okay.
fixes everything. Everything that looks like a blunder isn't. It'd be a fucking a wreck of epic proportion if a best friend of a wife and a best friend of a husband got together. They're not going to. If they break up, what the fuck do you do with this relationship? That he's absolutely right. That should not have worked out. He looks like a jerk, but that was the right thing to do. Buys the billboards, fucking makes the career of this guy. You know, he's fairy godfather.
They go tux shopping, and he's like, "Why are you marrying her? Is Zoe the one, or is she the next one?" And he's unable to answer. This too, I feel like this is coming from a different movie. This is a movie with more stakes, or more like where we just know more or see more drama in this relationship.
I agree
But
with
this is
that.
all stuff we're just projecting onto it because all of us have now been talking significantly longer than the running time of the movie about every frame of this movie. But they try a bunch of tuxes.
Well, we talked about The Rock.
Okay.
Stop interrupting.
They try a bunch of God.
You stop interrupting.
No. The co-host.
She's being very mean to you. I'm sorry.
What?
So they try a bunch
Wade.
of tuxes.
Wade, am I?
No.
Thank you.
Let me tell you, when Patrick records with
Oh
her,
my
he
God.
always texts me. He's like, she hates me. I'm like, no, that's
And
just.
I
It's
always
like
text.
recording an episode, but separately, like texting a private conversation.
And I always text him, I love you.
It doesn't matter.
I know.
It's not a group text, Lacey.
Yeah, but I do text him separately. I love
Yeah,
you.
but it's not a.
So
up,
yeah, Paul Rudd's like, hey, I think I'm going to bring that guy in my office in on the Ferrigno estate because I can't sell it. And Jason Segel's like, no, you can't do that. That guy sucks. I pissed on his face at a Bennigan's. And Bennigan's is very important. We'll tell a story on a different podcast.
Okay.
It's not that big good to a story.
It's not even. It's hardly even a story.
And
not even-
yet you're still taking time to do this part of it.
You know what? Without going into the story, I just would like to say thanks to Bennigan's, another sponsor of this and Load Bearing Beams episodes,
I think I was told this wouldn't take a
taking
lot.
us in right before they closed the kitchen. We were coming from way the hell and going to way the hell, and they fed us. So thanks, Bennigan's.
No, and I was just a little piece of shit kid, and I was like, it says open, serve us, please.
Ew, Matt.
I mean,
Ew.
I didn't actually say that, but
Ew.
that was my attitude.
You guys walked in like 10 minutes before closing?
Yeah.
No.
You are assholes. You are pieces of shit.
It was like 20.
That's still not
I
long
know
enough.
it's cutting it very close, but there was nowhere else to eat.
Well, why don't you just be a little hungry? You go to the fucking gas station.
So Sydney asks for $8,000 for an investment opportunity because he's cash poor right now.
And this is where you feel that the very first time you're panicking about how close you got to someone who you don't know very well.
Yeah.
And you see it all in Paul Rudd's face and his hesitation. It's perfect. And they make you wait a little while because 8,000 is a lot. And we don't know. We just don't know what's going on with Sydney. We don't know if he has brothers and sisters, what he does for a living. We don't fucking know what the inside of his house looks like. Just his man cave. Like,
I did think for a second that, like, is $8,000 really that big a deal to this guy?
you can't tell. He's a saver,
no, he's
though.
Probably not. No, he has so much fucking money. This
No, he doesn't.
asshole. Yes, he does.
They all do.
And then he like confesses, I don't have that many close male friends. So will you be my best man? And I like that he's like, what? So you were just using me? And he's like, no. I was dating around and then I gave up and then I found you. It's funny. I like that the movie doesn't do a parody of like, was I just a bet? Was I just a bet?
Yeah.
No, he just gets over it right away. And he's like, you know what? I will lend you the money. Good. Okay. Then
Did
they
you
take
mention what's his face comes back in that scene?
Right. That's what makes him talk about it is because Doug enters this.
Doug.
And he's like, you whore.
The taste of betrayal.
That's a good impression.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've heard him read a couple of audiobooks. He has a very soothing voice. Tom
Ooh.
Lennon. So then a separate time they're going for a walk, and Peter's like, I don't think Zoe likes me, and he's like, no, she does. You just talk about blowjobs or whatever. So they run into Lou Ferrigno, and he's eating with Peter's competition, Tevin.
Tevin.
And Sydney confronts them, but Lou Ferrigno wins. He puts him in a headlock.
He goes to punch him.
Right.
He like has his fist up in the air, and
And he
Lou
puts him in the
Ferrigno
sleeper
just
hold.
grabs it.
So Lou Ferrigno fires Peter, which means Peter won't be able to do his gentrification scheme. And he's like, sorry, babe, I can't gentrify this black neighborhood. And she's like, oh, that's okay, babe. We're still in love, aren't we? And he's like, yeah, I think so. But also, I lent Sydney $8,000. Hope that's okay. And she's like, I'm sorry, what? You need to run things like that by me. And he's like, wait, what? Why are we even getting married? This fight is just like, we need some conflict. So very suddenly she's like, I'm out of here. I'm going to stay with John Favreau. He's like, fine. Then the next day he's driving and he sees all these billboards of him. That's what the $8,000 was for. It was for billboards of him.
Hooker with a heart of gold.
And they're very funny. But man, this Photoshop work that they were able to do with just a couple of shitty iPhone photos of him. But that's what the $8,000 was for. And he goes and he's mad. So he goes to Sydney's house and he's like, how dare you that you broke the real estate code? I don't advertise.
My mommy told me not to.
Right. And they have a little breakup scene. And I think Jason Segel is excellent in this scene.
Yeah.
Playing, and like you can see his hurt and then he snapped into, okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah, of course, man.
No, here's your fucking lost
Here's
DVDs.
your lost DVDs.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Hope you have a great wedding. Take care.
Here's
It's
a
very
handshake.
sad.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But very quickly he wins back his fiance. And he's like, hey, sorry. And she's like, it's okay.
But he puts her first. You know, he knows he needs to break up with, he needs at least the gesture.
Mm-hmm.
This is a movie where I do not care about how quick and sloppy that shit is.
No, I don't either.
I'm having a good time.
I only care about it in that, like, it just shouldn't be there at all. It's just like the rules of the rom-com require that this happens.
Right.
And I wish that they could have subverted it some way. But she's also like, I hate staying here. John Favreau and Jamie Presley fight all night, and then they have really loud sex all night. It's like this weird kink they have.
Meanwhile, back at the office, Peter gets in to find out that he's had a ton of voicemail messages, and it's all great news.
Yeah. Hey, you spent some advertising, and now did a billboard company pay for this movie?
Dude.
Put up billboards and you will get inundated with calls. I've purchased lots of billboards on behalf of a client. They don't do shit.
They weren't these. They have to be
that's true.
good,
That's
and
true.
they have to be everywhere. You don't saturate the market properly.
But people are calling and literally saying, I saw your billboard. I was so impressed with it.
No, they were saying it's so funny.
Somebody says impressed. I think Lou Ferrigno says impressed. And they have to film Lou Ferrigno getting makeup on like he's going to another movie job. Like, I will only be in this movie if you show that I'm a busy working actor.
You know what, though? Maybe not billboards, but you know who did sponsor this movie is fucking Apple.
There is a lot of Apple stuff.
Not just because of all the products, but because all of the soundtrack just sounds like an iPhone commercial to me.
Okay, yes. It is 2009 core. It is Vampire Weekend. It is Coconut Records and MG. I mean, these bands aren't literally in here, but this is all shit I was listening to in 2009 and don't listen to anymore. That sounds like it's from an Apple commercial. That is exactly what it sounds like.
Like polite ukuleles and
Yes,
such.
ukuleles, yes. You can see Zooey Deschanel like being in a commercial where she's like, I'm just quirky. I don't know. Buy my iPhone.
Buy my iPhone. It's mine. It smells like my panties.
So now it's the wedding scene. Peter's groomsmen are Lou Ferrigno,
I love it.
Doug, Gil. It's very
There's that
funny.
really sweet diner scene though with the older man
Mel.
who's having the same. He's like, I'm really glad you called. Like he realizes that's just him at an older age, and he could have been this old with his wife just dying after years and years and years, and been in this situation, and then been even harder. Then the longer you wait,
point.
and so then he just adopts him. So cute.
Are the groomsmen supposed to be a Reservoir Dogs reference as they're all walking in slow motion towards the camera?
so.
Okay.
Yeah. But Rashida Jones sees that Paul Rudd is still very sad because he doesn't have his best friend. He's incomplete. And then he just very quickly does an airbase.
Yeah.
Like, that's who he is. He's just a big silly and he needs his big, tall, silly friend to be with him. So she calls him, but he was going to the wedding. He was going to crash the wedding anyway.
So cute.
He shows up and he's like, I have an objection that's not an objection. I'm here to say you're great and I love you. Also, I'm a successful investor. I'm not a dirtbag weirdo. Trust me. And they're like, great. I love you, man. I love you, bro.
Wait, I love how he goes up the aisle one step at a time.
Yeah, one step at a time. Giving Rashida and Peter, sorry, I'm twisting their names, a time to... This movie does a very careful job of letting Peter put her first and taking care of what he needs to. and it being her idea too to
Yep.
have it progress.
That is key. And the last shot before the final shot is of the two of Paul Rudd and Rashida.
Yeah.
That's where it ends. But yeah,
And
It
they
doesn't
still have time to like throw to Lou Ferrigno for a couple of unrelated one-liners, which I love that too.
and J.K. Simmons acknowledges his best friend Hank Margudas.
Yeah.
Hey, Hank.
I know that at the time there was jokes about like, how come men always say, if they say I love you, they have to add man, or I love you, bro, I love you, homie. So they just do it back and forth. I cannot believe they say Broseph Goebbels.
And I think it's also nice that it's the preacher that stops them, not Rashida, because she doesn't
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
play the like browbeating,
Yeah.
got your balls in my purse.
Final shot of the movie is an airplane pulling an ad for Paul Rudd's real estate business. Him as a leprechaun. Oh boy.
Because that's what all of his
Impressions
sound like.
Oh, look at you guys getting something I didn't get. That's a turn.
Final thoughts. I mean, you guys have
I love this fucking
made a
movie.
great case for this movie. I had way more fun talking about it than I did watching it.
5 stars.
I'm going to give it 3 stars. I think it's very uneven with some very strong, lovable performances that elevate it. 3 stars.
You're a piece of shit.
I see the movie that could have been.
No,
and I wish-
that's your flaw. That's
I
your
know.
curse. Because you have no money to make that movie, nor the connections.
or the talent.
Exactly.
Wade, what do you think?
If I were sitting down trying to judge it as a film critic, I'd probably go lower, but I cannot stop having a good time for the life of me while it's on.
That's
so
right.
4.5.
I'm giving it 5.
Lacey, I
fucking
love
it.
I love your 5. I
lo-
probably
I-
would
it's
probably go
just
for
so fun.
I probably should sack up, as Jason Segel says, and go 5. So you know what? Fuck it. 5.
Yeah.
Wade
5.
just touched my nutsack.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
sack
stacked
up, Matt.
And I like
Raise that 3 to a 3.5.
All right, 3. No, you guys have
Yeah, you-
You guys have both made really great points. Things I didn't see when I was watching it, being like, "Oh, this movie."
You're telling me it was at a 3 when we started, and then you said all that nice stuff about us, and still didn't give it a point until just now.
I'm gonna bump it up to 3.5.
No, do not celebrate. He wasn't going to do it until you asked him to.
I win.
Fuck that guy.
Next week we're off.
Yay, we're going to be on the beach.
It's June 6th.
Just kidding.
Normandy Beach, storming it on June 6th.
You're gonna be storming the beach, man. Okay, I'll go.
Where was that leprechaun coming from?
The following week, the Summer of Rock begins. The Rock with the,
The Rock
Scorpion
has
King.
a sad place.
That's sad.
And-
He has one.
I don't remember this movie at
At
all.
least he's not homeless.
I don't remember. Have you seen the Scorpion King?
Never.
Nope.
Thank God.
All right, looking forward to it. I've seen it
Me
like
too.
twice. I remember buying it
gonna
on
sting.
DVD. It was one of the first DVDs I ever bought. And I was like, this is going to be one of my favorite movies. And it was fine.
It's fine. This is one of my finest movies.
I want everybody to please go check out Wade Hymel's music and his album Who Said That, available wherever you purchase or stream music. Again, that is Who Said That. Links in the description.
Thanks, pal. I love you, man.
I love you.
love you, muchacho.
You're,
If you want to
always-
see it live, TJ, the producer, and I are actually going to be playing at the Crescent Lounge in Ponchatoula, Louisiana. So if we got any local listeners with a free Friday night, June 13th at the Crescent Lounge.
Hell yeah. Listen to the Scorpion King episode on the way and go see that.
Why you got to give him homework?
Sorry.
And they're going to have a nice night out.
Yeah, Wade, always going on tour with your Dash Rip Rock and your Incubators and your
Dash Rip Rock and Incubators both going to have new records out later on this year.
Dang.
So keep an eye out for that.
and so on. But most importantly, from Rural Route 9. And you can check out Rural Route 9 wherever you get your music. RURALROUTE
Outro gets
NINE.
longer and longer every
And
fucking
I'm on
time.
Letterboxd at Matt Stokes 9. Lacey's on Letterboxd at Loadbring Lacey. That's the end. I love you, man.
I love you. Bye. Okay, I love you. Goodbye, man.
Three, four.
Everybody, Americans, Americans.